trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, please forgive me for being so tardy, beloveds. I'm sorry. I was trying to get here on time, but then I added something else to the broadcast, okay? I got some other news came in, so I decided to add that to the broadcast. Now, with that all being said, hold on, I'm multitasking. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's get ready to get black into it. Okay? Hello, Nessa G, Charlene, DJ Big Six, We the People, Pearly, Chief Jonesy is here. All right, let's get into it. Buckhorse DC, Leon, Yvette. All right, 504 Nola is in the virtual building. Y'all know I love me some Royals. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Now, before we do, let's go ahead and have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Hello, Queen Koya. All right, Pearly. Okay, Vince, I am all the way from the UK. Yvette. All right, Claudette, let's get into it. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, and don't forget that she sells beard oil as well. Okay, so I hope everybody enjoyed their strong end. We're about to get into these receipts. Okay, so I just found out about T.I., I mean not T.I., but King Harris going in on 50 Cent. So that's what I was adding to the broadcast. I was trying to gather my receipts for that real quick. But before we get started, the first thing I want to say is shout out to Claressa Shields. She did her thing last night, but also shout out to friend Sean because she did her thing too. She hung in there. Claressa didn't knock her out. You could see she was getting tired. But at the end of the day, she still put up a good fight. Okay, so shout out to both of those wonderful ladies. All right, and shout out to Black Excellence. Okay, how can you not like Claressa Shields? If you don't, you have to be a hater. And I'm talking about the people who look like me. Everybody else, we know why other people might be hating, but your own people, like, make it all make sense. So with that all being said, I am going to give you all some highlights of Claressa's bout. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Hold on just a moment, beloveds. Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable.
And if you notice, Shakur preserved on that right knee area. Looks like she got some kinesio tape wrapping it. I wish she took a bit of a fall at the weigh-in on Saturday. There's a minor injury there that she's dealing with going into this fight. And we call it the truth preserved.
They're both throwing their head off the line and they're throwing that right hand.
Beautiful body shot there. That slip and rip that Claressa does. She slips outside her right hand, takes that left hook to the liver. Thing of beauty. Yeah, to your point, they're both technically sound. Very, very sharp. Great hand position. Getting their head off line, like you said. Beautiful stuff there from Shields. Body language really preserved, really has changed for the last round and a half.
Yeah, French on his tendency when she gets in, she kind of smothers her punches and ties up instead of dropping her knees and digging down to the body. She would have a lot more success. She let her combinations go to the head and then started to roll and dig to the body, but instead she's there for Claressa's counter. And it's hard to get away with it when French throws 3 punches and Claressa still comes back with 8 or 9.
Ouch. We're working with a draining battery here in Panic. These body shots that Shields is focusing on here in the fifth are not helping. Yeah, I love that little slip left hook to the body. She's done that 3 times.
Right hand coming from Claressa. That was the 3rd one in a row. That one then just missed.
Again, right over the top. As the seconds tick away here in the fifth. The momentum swinging heavily in favor of the GWOAT.
And tired so she can get tired and then back her
Either
ass.
that or get on your toes and box the food. But get something standing in front of her, you're gonna
She trying to time her. She gonna get her ass. Get her ass. Let's go be more. Come on.
Shoulder movement, upper body
She
rhythm.
play with Layla Ali. Fuck her.
Oh,
Firing off these shots.
my baby don't like colors.
She's on that jab.
I mean, Claressa right there.
Well, and Chris perceived
Yeah, she played with the GOAT, man. You can't do that.
Yeah, she did play my girl, Ali, though. Layla Ali. You know, most definitely don't play with her. That's the queen of boxing. Come on, I'm sorry, y'all. It froze. My bad. It's look, y'all. Oh my goodness.
She keep cocking. That's all. That's why I did like her, but that's why I don't like her now.
Yo, shit. Oh my goodness, y'all. When I came back today with the camera, the girl cruise lip was busted so bad.
10 years
Oh, I
later.
go to 10 rounds.
Oh, it's the last round, y'all. It's the last round.
I got drop. Let's get it.
Ooh, last round, y'all.
Dominant.
I'm on YouTube once again, y'all, so don't mind me. I couldn't afford it.
Get in. Come on,
But
boy.
give me y'all some of the fight.
Come on, big ball. Big ball.
Ooh, red. Ooh.
Big more. That's right. Last round.
Are you bagging some hits, man? Let's go.
Yeah, she going there too.
Let's go. Let it go. Right.
That up.
Let it. Ooh, that was a good weave. Good weave, girl.
Had a good opening minute in this last
Good weave. Ooh.
upper body.
Come on.
Yeah, let's get it.
Left body shots on both sides.
I get excited, yo, when I watch boxing.
I think
Let's
that's
go,
probably
big more.
she could have kept up throughout the gym rounds, but then again, because she took away volatility and the leverage on the shot.
Yeah, it's not generating a lot of power there on the inside.
Ooh.
Right back down to the
Man,
body.
45 seconds, man. Just throw them bitches.
He'll think, come on. Let's go for it in the closing 40 seconds.
Right.
Let's go, right? Let's go for it, like he said. Please don't freeze on me. Come on, now let's get these last 40 seconds. Let's go.
Big right hand.
Let's go. Come on. Come on.
Clubbing away. On through
Come
the
on.
turn.
Keep on, girl. So today, hey, she ain't a Baltimore girl.
Let's go. 10 seconds. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Ooh. Ooh. She was definitely trying to end it with a bang.
Stories are forever intertwined. And they've given us a memorable final.
Man, y'all already know who won this fight. Period. Man, they lit in there. Okay, they brought him out. I wish Chris Shaw was coming out on this fight.
Hey, yo, Franklin stood in there, though. I really thought she was going to get knocked out.
Yeah,
She did
man.
not get knocked
She
out.
most definitely stood in there. Baltimore stand up,
Came out with all
man.
her energy because of all
Yeah,
that
Baltimore
tension between
stand
them
up.
two and all
I like
beef,
that.
but
I like that. She most definitely stood in there.
I'm proud
Look,
to see that she
ooh.
actually stood.
Ooh,
38
she
years
wanna
old,
fight.
dog. I mean, excuse me, 39.
39?
I think it's 30.
Okay.
40 years old, bro.
Okay.
Get out. That's because
40
they were
and 30 teams apart.
They was really friends.
Okay.
Friends again, perhaps. Michaela doesn't like to see.
That's what's up.
There we go. That's what I
Yeah,
want
that's
to
how
see.
you
That's
do it.
what's up.
See
She
that.
didn't get knocked
Yes.
out, though. She
They don't
stood
want
her
to
ground.
line out there.
Most definitely stood her ground, yo. They both did. They both did a good job. Like, yeah, let's go, ladies. Yes, let's go, ladies. Nice fight. Both of y'all, yes, nice fight, y'all. Y'all both stood in the paint. Yes.
Thank you to everybody that subscribed to my channel.
Yes.
All right. So with that all being said, that was a really good fight. What do you all think? Like I told you, I think both of the ladies did their thing. Okay, so shout out to both of them. Now, with that all being said, y'all, did y'all hear about 50 Cent? Once in the chat, if you all heard about 50 Cent with his nefarious self. Okay, going in on T.I. or going in on Tiny, which has prompted a response from King Harris. Okay, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it in just a second. Let me see what y'all talking about. Let me read some of these comments. Claressa is the GWOAT, baby. Okay. Yeah, she is. You know her haters are so mad right about now. Okay. So Sister said 50 is going in on everyone. Let me tell you all something about 50. He is really starting to get on my nerves. Okay. I'm officially done with 50. Okay. I'm officially done with him. Disrespecting Tiny like that. Why are you going in on this black woman? And I already had a problem with him, like I told you all when I found out. Because remember, okay, Evelyn said, I love Claressa. I do too, honey. She is the epitome of black excellence, right? Now, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, I'm just over it with 50 Cent at this point because he said some things about black women's when he was talking about how he likes the exotic looking women and all of that. And now you're trying to go in on Tiny, who did nothing to you. And if you have a beef with T.I., keep it with him. Like, why are you going in on this woman? Like, I don't like that. Because one thing about 50 Cent, and I want y'all to pay attention to this. One thing I noticed about 50 Cent is that he never goes in on people who don't look like him. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? Have you all ever heard 50 Cent trolling? Have you ever seen or heard him trolling someone who does not look like him? That's right. So Sister said Tiny is off limits. She darn sure is. Okay. She darn sure is. Now, with that all being said, songwriter Sonny said you grew up in Queens, New York. The smoke is what? Hold on. Genderless. The smoke is genderless. Okay, well, it could be for y'all up there in New York, but we're down here in the A. And when we're down here in the A, we're going to defend each other. That's just what we do. Okay, 50 Cent is not going to be going in on Tiny and think that he's not going to get the smoke. You're not going to be trying to go in on the King of the South and his wife and think you're not about to get this work. 50 Cent. Okay, now, like I said, anybody that's caping for him, before you do so, I want you to pay attention to how he never goes in on anybody ever who does not look like him. Okay, he goes in on black people on a constant. All right, y'all know it's the truth. So I'm sorry, and he's friends with Donald Trump. Now y'all want to go in on Nicki Minaj about Trump, but let's not forget 50 is down with Trump too. Let's not forget that he said he was going to call Trump and tell Trump not to pardon Diddy. How does he have access to Trump like that? Well, because he's down with Trump. Okay, please pay attention. He's down with Trump. So at the end of the day, I'm sorry. If Nikki is a raccoon, so is 50. If Nikki is a raccoon, then so is 50. Okay, what we not gonna do is allow him to keep going in on black folk and getting away with it. Okay, I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen. Now, with that all being said, likes up, everyone. Please like and share. I want to go to, hold on, let me find it. I want to go to, before I go to 50 Cent, and I want to go to Ocho. Y'all know I love Ocho Cinco, but let's go to him and Shannon giving their thoughts on the fight. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I'll have to use an overlay. Okay, so that all being said, hold on, let me get this overlay before I start it. I see somebody said something about 50 lives down south. Hold on, let me go to that comment. 50 lives in H-Town. He is the South. He's not no South. You sound ridiculous. Okay, just because you moved to the South doesn't make you from the South. 50 is straight up from New York. Isn't he from Queens? Honey, and at the end of the day, what you fail to realize is I don't give a damn where 50 is at right now or where he claims to be from. The bottom line is you don't come talking greasy about our folk down here in the ATL, especially unprovoked. because T.I. simply said he wanted to do a versus with you. He don't want to do a versus with T.I. because he already know how that's going to turn out. So let me just gaslight and deflect and go in on his wife to change the whole narrative. I see you, 50 Cent. We see you, boo. Okay, please pay attention. And anybody caping for him, you can get that work too. All right. I'm in the mood for a roast this morning. All right. Y'all want to be entertained? Somebody start caping for 50 so I can go in. All right, now let's get into it.
Button below so you don't miss a single episode of Nightcap. That button right here. Come for the sports, stay for the stories. Ocho, Claressa Shields successfully defended her undisputed heavyweight crown in a rematch against Franchon DeJean, her longtime rival, with a unanimous decision. All three judges scored the fight 100-90 in Mrs. Shields' favor.
Yes.
Ocho, what did you like about this fight?
I mean, I like Franchon came out with a great game plan. Be aggressive. Try to bully the bully. Obviously, I was kind of not scared, but I was kind of worried about her coming out so aggressive and volume punching and being able to tire herself out a little too early. I think she should have stuck with the jab and actually boxed a little bit more. Getting to a slugfest with Claressa Shields, I'm not sure that was a great idea, but I understand the game plan that she tried to implement into the fight, try to bully her, frustrate her.
When I tell you all, beloveds, how I cackled when he said try to get into a slugfest with Claressa Shields. Okay, because that is not the thing to do. Please pay attention.
Early, but it just didn't work. Down the stretch, I think it might have been round 7. I thought she was gonna go down.
I did too. I
thought she was gonna go down. And obviously you can tell from a conditioning standpoint that Claressa Shields was in better shape. She had better conditioning, and she was able to last the rest of the fight.
Yeah, I was concerned because you're talking about with those, like if you watch the heavyweights, Ocho, they're very strategic with their punches because you're asking. That's a lot of. Normally we're talking about men. That's a lot of man. 230, 240, 250 to try to throw volume punches like this. Somebody 130, 135, 140.
Right.
So I was surprised that they came out because both women made the weight under the 175.
Yeah.
But that being said, I was like, well, damn. I understood DeJean's game plan. Let me smother. I don't want to be on the end of these punches. Let me get inside.
Right. Yes.
I agree with you. She forgot about the jab because she was having some success with the jab. But as she like, damn, I'm hitting her with some overhands too. Let me try to keep this going. I was like, unless she's in like peak condition. For her to fight at the pace that she came out in the first 2 rounds. Yeah. I was like, the likelihood of that happening is not very good.
No. Not listen. Throwing volume punches like that, some a little erratic, some a little wild. To be able to maintain that kind of volume, it's slim to none. It's slim to none.
Throwing punches takes it out of you.
Yeah, I understood what she was trying to do. Obviously, maybe I can catch her early. Maybe I can catch her early and then frustrate her a little bit. But obviously, Claressa, I mean, listen, she was calm, she was relaxed. And the barrage of punches really didn't phase her. And obviously, once they got into deeper waters, I mean, she was able to take control of the fight.
If you just look at in the corners, you see how the calm on Claressa's face.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you look at Miss DeJean, she was breathing out of her mouth. Her mouth was basically open. And I thought, and that was one of the things I was like, man, she's breathing. She's really fatigued. She's really tired. I mean, Claressa probably can land something and probably get out of here. But give her credit. Give her credit the last 10 rounds. Because she was spent after the first 2. She was spent after the first 2. She had spent all that whole dollar that your grandparents and your mom used to give you way back when.
Yeah.
And you go to the store and you spend it all in one fell swoop. Don't spend it all in one place. Well, you should have told me that before I left because it's gone. And that's what happened in those first 2 rounds. And she tried to smother. I give you that. Like, hey, let me fight on the inside. But if she probably would have stepped. Now, I'm not saying it would have changed anything, though, Ocho.
Yeah, right.
Because I think Claressa Shields is the more skilled fighter, and it showed. She landed crisper, even though Franchon did get some punches in.
Yes.
The cleaner punches were landed by Claressa.
Yeah.
She fought behind the jab. She hit a couple of times with the overhand right. I'm like, well, damn. And she ain't get out of there with that.
But
This is what I want to see. I want to see action. I want to see live action. And that's what we got from the start of the bell. Yeah, the action slowed down, but they were still throwing punches. Give her credit. She tried to smother her, tried to take as much stick. Because look at Ocho. If I just lean on you, I'm zapping some of your energy too. Because you got to hold both of our big asses up. Absolutely. You got to hold yourself up, and you got to hold me up.
Yep.
But look, I like this. I don't really know. I mean, the previous fight, Danielle Perkins stopped this lady, and Claressa knocked her down in the final round. So I don't really know who's left for Claressa to fight. Maybe we can coax Layla to come out of retirement and give us some work. But I don't really know where she goes. I mean, I don't see her dropping back down to go down to 55 or something like that.
Well, she called someone out after the fight. I'm not sure.
Did she?
I'm not sure what the young lady name was. And she said, listen, 165. I think that the weight she might have said I can get down to 165 or 168, whatever it may have been. But she called out and asked if she was in the crowd. If she was in the crowd, please come to the ring. I'm not sure if the young lady was there for the fight, but she called someone out. And obviously, I mean, I'm not sure where she goes from here. Huh? I'm not sure where she goes from here. I'm happy for her. She said what she was going to do, and she went out there and delivered.
She was very impressive. And I think this might have been one of the most impressive fights that I've seen her fight in some time. Sometimes I think she get like, they're not on her level, but this lady came to fight. And the lady forced her. She didn't have no choice. She didn't have no choice but to get the lady up off of the back, because it's something, Ocho. If I'm pressuring you and I can't get you up and I can't get you up off me, well, I'm in for a long night. She pressured her as much as she could, but after she felt a couple of those blows, she's like, well, damn, I want the honey, but damn, these bee stings hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but as you saw as it started to progress, you started to see rounds 4, round 5. The shots got even cleaner.
Yeah,
and it's like, ooh, damn. Let me regroup and think about another. But I thought also she stayed right in front of her. She didn't get angles or nothing. Ocho, you can't stay right down. You can't just knock on somebody's front door, Ocho. Try the window. You got to spin. You got to be on an angle.
Yeah, you got. Listen, it's only so much you can do, especially when you exert that much early on in the fight. I mean, you going for the most part, your legs are already shot. Your legs are already going, so you ain't got no choice but to stand right in front of them.
Yeah, and the thing is, she was, hey, Ocho, you got to be at an angle. You give it. That's a.
Oh, they straight ahead.
You better get half the. It's kind of like when we play when we play receiver going against a DB. I'm taking half a man.
Half a man every time.
I'm going inside. I'm going outside. I ain't going right down the middle. I'm not going to let you get both hands in my breastplate.
Hey,
one or the other. But it was an action-packed fight.
Yeah,
this is what you want to see happen. Like I said, you mentioned that because I had come downstairs to get ready for the show, and you said she had called somebody out, so I didn't hear who she called out. Oh, hold on. Shadisha Green.
Okay.
Wants to fight Shadisha Green and Michaela Meyer. Yeah. Was that the one that's on the broadcast? Hold on, that was the lady. Was that the white lady on the broadcast?
All right, shout out to Uncle Ocho for that. Shout out to them for that. Now let's go to one more clip. This is the press conference afterwards. Okay, this is like a 4-minute clip, so let's go to that, and then we're going to move on and talk about 50 Cent. Then we're going to get into Trump.
You right?
Take a right. Yeah, want to go inside?
What was you yelling?
I said, whoop that tree.
You yelled, whoop that tree too. How do you yell it? Whoop that tree. We need to point this. I cannot be doing that. What else did you say?
Yeah, one time you waved at me because I keep on saying your name.
Yeah, I saw you in the crowd, so I waved at you.
Deep is funny. Huh? Deep is funny.
Yeah, I wasn't smiling at first because I really wasn't all that happy, but when I saw you, I was
You and Claressa obviously have a deep history together. I saw the embrace after the fight. To be able to put on a fight like that, it was high action from both sides, but then being able to have that embrace at the end and have this positive attitude that you have now, you see it as a relief?
I mean, she inspires me. She came in at a time where I was dominant and shook the table up. And like she said, the reason she always wants to be great and push herself, for a person like me who used to compete where it wasn't a lot of like good competition for me because I dominated. When I see her, I'm like, okay, that's a point I can get to, or you know what I'm saying? That's somebody that can keep fire up under me. And it's never a jealousy thing. I'm proud of her. Like, I'm going to make that very clear. I'm not jealous of her. I want to see her do good at all times. But yeah, that's what it is. It inspires me. Okay, Pops, you had a question?
When will you marry me?
You see, Glee, like, hold up. I got you, I love you. And it's so funny. It's so funny. That's my guy. And my father, who's here too, has a big old picture of him and Claressa that he took in Madison Square Garden, like a big ass picture of them in his living room. So he looks at her like, yeah, when she fight my daughter, fuck her up. But other than that, I love her too. So it's a crazy dynamic. But yes, I got you, Dad. I love you.
Let's go right here.
Yeah, get out.
We had one comment from this young lady here. We'd like to hear it.
Okay, I'm gone. You got it.
Claressa, I don't have a question, I have a comment. I want to thank you for representing your town, Flint. We love you, and you are setting the record for young ladies of today and for the future. And the game of boxing have changed. And thank you. We love you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right. So, I think they still have a good relationship. I think they like each other. I saw, they've known each other for years because, like Franchon said, she's known Claressa since she was 15. Now, mind you, the haters were saying, oh, they hate each other. Oh, they're mad. They really trying to go in. They obviously don't pay attention. I think all they want to do is get online and try to clown Claressa about papoose. Okay. Because one of them even did a video. One of the haters even did a video saying, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry for all the stuff I said about Claressa. I didn't even know she was such a good boxer. She really is a good boxer. Oh my goodness, I didn't even know. I'm just used to seeing her shenanigans about papoose. First of all, that just goes to show how dumb people can be. You're going to sit there and go in on this woman. You don't even know her. You've never even followed her career. This is nothing but group think. I want you all to pay attention. That's what that's called. Okay, Barilla said love is better than hate. Okay, all day, every day, beloved, and twice on Sundays. Now, speaking of love, we don't have any for 50 Cent. At least King Harris doesn't. So let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance, because what was 50 even thinking? Okay. Hold on, I'm about to go to this TikTok, and then I'm going to go straight to, well, you know what? No. Before I go to the TikTok, let's go to King's video first. Okay, hold on. Let me just pull it up. Because supposedly 50 Cent posted something trying to go in on Tiny because T.I. simply challenged him to a versus. You know, and he's just so disrespectful, in my opinion, because that was all uncalled for. But when I tell you King Harris let him have it,
fuck, post a picture of your motherfucking mama. She dead. Hey, respect, nigga. Stop fucking playing with my mama. Nigga ain't playing like that. Nigga ain't going like that, nigga. How y'all raised? I'm not raised like that. I don't go. I'm not going back my mama. I'm not going. So tell your mama dig her ass up and post a picture that look better than my mama, nigga. Fuck wrong with you? Y'all better tie y'all shoes. Y'all don't know who the y'all fucking with, nigga. You better put that music up. Shut the fuck up. Cause all that other shit ain't gonna get it. On my mother. Your mama dead as fuck, nigga. Dig that bitch up. Fuck. Post a picture of your motherfucking mama. She dead.
Did I hear that? He is clearly upset, honey, and as he should be. Okay, talking about that young man's mom. Hold on, let's go to the next clip. Then we're going to go to this TikTok. 50 Cent needs to sit down somewhere. Cheryl said 50 must have a crush on Tiny. That's how dysfunctional men behave. He is dysfunctional. I will agree with you on that.
Straight like that. Your son don't love you. You don't got no family. You not loved. You rich, but you not loved, nigga. Money means nothing without no one to spend it with. Your son don't love you. And nigga, just for talking about my mama, I would slap the fuck out that nigga just because he share the same blood as you, nigga. I don't give a fuck. Man, at the end of the day, I don't play by my mama. I don't play by my mama. I'm just how I'm raised, nigga. I wasn't raised by y'all father, nigga. My dad is TIP, nigga. Tip, nigga. That's how I'm raised, nigga. I don't play like this.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Just pay attention. He darn sure didn't say that he would slap 50. Okay, y'all heard that, right? He didn't say, I'll slap you. He said, I'll slap the F out that ninja. Talking about 50's son, honey, because that's a little bit more on his level. He already knows, don't try with 50, I guess. This is all nefarious. Can we all just get along, please? But what I will say is this, 50, somebody's going to kick your arse one of these days, baby. You're going to run up on the wrong one. As a matter of fact, you know who I would like to see challenge 50? Mano. What y'all think? Y'all think Mano could take him? I think that'll be a good match, okay? But now let's go to this TikTok. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. Leon said, 44 Roddy said Mano and 50 are cool. Yeah, I know, but they might fall out. 50 falls out with everybody. Okay, they might fall out. But then again, maybe they're cool because 50 knows not to try Mano. Okay. Leon said, when will we grow up? Okay.
His first mistake after what he did was thinking that he was going to go ahead with T.I. No, he should have known the white ends don't play about their mama. This is getting out of hand already, and it just started. Keep in mind, like I said, this all started because T.I. had basically said that he wanted to do a versus with 50, and 50 declined. 50 didn't just decline. He said, I don't fuck with you because you're the police. So therefore, not only do I not fuck with you, but I'm definitely not doing a versus with you because you're a rat. You're the police. Where he's getting that from, why he's saying that, I don't know. But nonetheless, he then proceeded to also post this picture of Tiny on his Instagram, making fun of her, and basically said, I keep saying, keep my name out your mouth. Like I said, where he fucked up at was thinking that he was going to go head to head with T.I. No, you should have known that King, or at least one of the kids, was going to step in. You just happened to get the hot head out of all of them. A minute, there might be more than just that, because he bringing up, let me just show y'all.
Mama, your mama dead. I think you can get on this. Say something about my mama, your mama dead. Your mama dead. Go dig her up. Go dig her up. Post a picture of your mama. She dead. Pay respect. Stop playing with my mama.
But hold on, wait, he was not done. He then proceeded to make his own post on Instagram, which was a picture of 50 Cent mama's headstone. Basically said, F Well, y'all can read the caption. And mind y'all, this all just started, so who knows where it's going to end up, especially being that King is a whole different breed. Like, this is the new generation. I think the older generation is not understanding that. They will go to the ends of the earth about their respect. Like, if 50 think this is bad, I'm pretty sure he's just getting started. And it's so crazy because out of all Tiny's kids, husband included, he was the only one that spoke up. Yeah, I will be on bullshit too. I just want to see how 50 gonna reply, because I'm not gonna lie. It seems like he met his match with this one for sure.
It doesn't even matter how 50 replies, as far as I'm concerned. He is done. Like, it's nothing you can say, bro. It's nothing you can say. Okay, not about T.I. and his family. Okay, because in a minute, everybody in ATL is going to be going in on him, and the ATL rappers too. Like, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, I hope this is all 50 Cent has to say and doesn't keep trying to go back and forth. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's going to turn out good for him. Now, with that all being said, and also I want you all to pay attention. The reason he went to talking about T.I. is the police, okay, he wants to bring that up because he's just gaslighting and deflecting. Because what the real fact of the matter is, he does not want that smoke. With those verses, he don't want to go against T.I., baby. He is nowhere near T.I.'s category, okay, of expertise. He's nowhere near his catalog, okay, of music. He just isn't. He just isn't. Okay, now T.I. is the king of the South when it comes to rap. 50 Cent is just the king of the clowns when it comes to trolling. Okay, like I said, I don't ever see him clown anybody who doesn't look like him. Okay, he's a whole raccoon. Now, that all being said, Deanna said, Billy D. Williams said, success means nothing without someone to share it with. Mahogany, but also, but money also king. Okay. DJ Big Six said expeditiously. I know that's right. Now, somebody in the chat said something about boycott Life Touch pictures because they're connected to Epstein. Gypsy One, yes, we know all about Life Touch, honey, and everybody is likely already boycotting them if they're smart, because we know that they were absolutely, them and McGraw-Hill. Okay, we've been covering Epstein files over here for days and Sundays, and we got very good research. So we know most of the stuff that's being reported thus far. Now, with that all being said, speaking of the Epstein files, let's talk about it. Because y'all know the man that came after Trump at Mar-a-Lago on Sunday, that man was MAGA. I mean, it looks like Trump's own base is turning on him at this point, okay, over those Epstein files, no less. So let's get into it. Okay, let's get into it. Another reason I was late, folks, I'm not even going to lie. I was doing my TikTok. Okay, please pay attention. That's another reason the queen was late. Shakur, the 21-year-old who showed up at Mar-a-Lago brandishing a GWOAT and lost his life consequently, was actually a Trump supporter initially. Let's get into it. Austin Tucker Martin was reported missing by a family member on Saturday. They said he vanished, and they even put up a missing poster. Okay, please pay attention. Martin was ordered to put down the GWOAT, but he instead raised it. Florida police and Secret Service then injected him with lead, leaving him deceased. Okay, please pay attention. Reports are saying that this young man was obsessed with the Epstein files and that this is why he took those actions. But at the end of the day, was he obsessed with the Epstein files, or was he upset about the things that he read in those files? Okay, let's talk about it. He sent a text to a friend on February the 15th saying that, I don't know if you read up on the Epstein files, but evil is real and unmistakable. Best people like you and I can do is use what little influence we have. Tell other people about what you hear about the Epstein files and what the government is doing about it. Raise awareness. Coworkers say that he was frustrated because he felt the government had a concerted effort to basically protect these PDF files and allow the elites to keep getting away with it. Please pay attention. They say he also expressed frustrations about the economy and how things were difficult for young people, and basically they couldn't afford to live on their own. Now, at the end of the day, they also say that he reached out to people at the golf club he worked at and tried to get them to have a union and support, what he was rallying against, but nobody would. Okay, please pay attention. His 19-year-old cousin by the name of Brandon Fields says that this is extremely out of character for him and that basically he wouldn't even hurt an ant. Okay, so clearly these files must have really upset him, and he must have really felt like somebody needed some consequences for him to take such drastic actions. Okay, please pay attention. Bottom line is there are lots of people in the United States who are very upset about the things they've seen and read in the Epstein files. And then they look around and see other countries taking action, but the United States simply refuses to hold anyone accountable. Well, that makes them even more infuriated. Please pay attention. The bottom line is Trump promised that he was going to deliver the Epstein files, but he's done a lot of, backpedaling, trying to get us to think it's a hoax, then telling us that there's nothing to see here. Basically, we need to move on, move past it, and just forget about all these drastic things, these depraved acts that we've read about, the videos that we've seen. Well, people are not happy about it. And, the bottom line is they absolutely need to be held accountable. Now, I don't condone at all what this young man did, but, in reality, we do know that desperate people take drastic measures. And at the end of the day, the people who are responsible for all the nefarious accusations that we've seen in the Epstein files, and some of them actually credible according to the DOJ's own information, well, someone needs to be held accountable. Okay, period. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur, the 21-year-old who showed up at Mar-a-Lago. They need to be held accountable, all right? The young man was clearly pressed, okay? Now, with that all being said, let's go to the news report. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Yes, I heard about the Mexican cartels, beloved. We'll be discussing that momentarily, okay?
After breaching security at U.S. President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home, the president wasn't there at the time. Our reporter Emily Gremens is in Washington, D.C. this morning. Good morning to you, Emily. What happened?
Well, this happened at around 1:30 a.m. local time. Early reports suggest that a car was exiting the north gate of the Mar-a-Lago private club and estate. That's Donald Trump's private property in Florida. And as this car was exiting, another car driven by this man entered through that gate. He was confronted by two federal Secret Service agents and a local sheriff's deputy. Now, police say he was armed and he was shot dead there at the scene. Here's what the Palm Beach sheriff said about this incident earlier this morning.
They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those two pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the two Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat.
Emily, have we heard anything from the White House yet?
Well, Donald Trump has not reacted to this incident yet, though he has been posting on social media this morning about the US winning the men's ice hockey final at the Winter Olympics. His press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, though, has addressed this incident. She said in a post, in the middle of the night, while most Americans were asleep, the United States Secret Service acted quickly and decisively to neutralize a crazy person armed with a gun and a gas canister who intruded on President Trump's home. And in that post, she also pointed to an ongoing political battle over funding the Department of Homeland Security, which the Secret Service falls under. That political stoush is really related to immigration enforcement tactics by the Trump administration. President Trump's Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, has also been on television this morning. He criticized rhetoric from the left, calling it venom. This is a time of heightened political violence in the United States. We've seen a swathe of violent incidences, some of them fatal, targeting political figures from across the spectrum. And of course, Donald Trump has been the subject of assassination attempts before, particularly at his campaign rally in 2024 in Butler, Pennsylvania. He was shot out, a bullet grazed his ear and killed a bystander in that incident. So while Donald Trump was not at Mar-a-Lago this weekend, and we don't yet know what this man's motivations may have been, it is certainly a very troubling incident in a time when the United States is very divided.
Okay, absolutely. Absolutely. It's interesting that they say Trump hasn't posted about it, okay? Because that's the first thing I was looking for this morning was for him to post about it, and he didn't say anything. And he posts everything. And, like I told you on one day, he posted like 44 texts, literally, okay, within a 60-minute span. So that's almost a text every minute. But he didn't have anything to say about this. And if you ask me, the reason he hadn't had anything to say about this is because that young man was MAGA, initially MAGA, okay? So it just goes to prove that his own base is turning on him. All right. Now, with that all been said, Roddy says if T.I. starts the verses with Bring 'Em Out, it's over. Okay? Sorry, 50 Cent knows that just as well as you do, beloved. Okay? And that's why he starts all this commotion just to get out of it. You could have just said, you could have, if you're scared, say you're scared, okay? That's all I'm saying. But anywho, let's continue because let's go to this clip where they show the young man Brandon or Austin Tucker Martin, the area of his home in North Carolina.
Mile from the home of the man who was shot and killed at Mar-a-Lago, and the FBI just turned us away, said we could get no closer. Austin Martin was from Moore County, North Carolina, and investigators have been up and down this street for much of the day. The sheriff here says Martin was reported missing by a relative minutes after he was killed early Sunday morning. The Secret Service says Martin is believed to have left North Carolina and picked up a shotgun on the way to Florida. A service spokesperson says he was through the secure perimeter at President Trump's resort carrying that shotgun and a fuel can. The Palm Beach County Sheriff says Martin raised the shotgun to a shooting position, at which point a deputy and 2 Secret Service agents shot and killed him. The Moore County Sheriff's Office says it had no prior history with Martin. Check with QCnews.com for all the updates on this story.
All right, so with that all being said, Jago the Rogue said the Queen is biased to ATL rappers. No, I'm not. I just don't like 50 Cent, okay? Like I said, there's plenty of rappers I like that are not from ATL, but I don't like 50 Cent because he always is talking about people who look like him. Okay, that's the problem I have with him, honey. Okay, and it's not biased to say that T.I. is better than him because T.I. factually is better than him. Okay, factually, those are facts. It's not an opinion. Y'all know that's facts. Okay, y'all know it's facts.
Radar federal law enforcement before yesterday. Multiple sources tell CBS News, but authorities say 21-year-old Austin Martin entered near the North Gate at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort at about 1:30 Sunday morning and was armed with a shotgun and armed with a fuel canister. The Secret Service says Martin raised the shotgun when guards ordered him to stop. Agents and a sheriff's deputy then shot and killed him. The first family was not in Mar-a-Lago at the time. About a year and a half ago, authorities arrested a suspect for attempting to kill Trump at his nearby golf course in Florida. Ryan Ruth was convicted of multiple federal charges and sentenced to life in prison. A CBS News analysis of court records found 126 people were charged last year for making threats to federal and state officials. That is double the number charged in 2022, but it's just a fraction of the more than 15,000 threats reported to police last year. Officials are keeping a particular eye on threats this week ahead of the big security events of the year in Washington. That includes President Trump's State of the Union address tomorrow night, Nora. The gunman was not.
Okay, nobody, listen, you beloveds, listen, you guys, nobody is watching. Okay, we're boycotting Trump's his address to the union, right? His State of the Union address. We're boycotting it. Nobody's gonna watch it. The Midas Touch has started their own State of the Union or whatever, something they're doing in replace of it, but nobody's watching Trump sit down somewhere. We don't want to hear the lies. Aren't y'all tired of listening to the lies? Because I absolutely am. Okay, it's all nefarious. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about the Mexican cartels. Because say what now? This is all nefarious. Okay, this is all nefarious. Now they say that the people from the United States are having to shelter in place over in Mexico. So let's get into it. Because the cartels, honey. Buckles DC said, bastard come for war.
Now to more breaking news. U.S. citizens in parts of Mexico are being ordered to shelter in place after Mexican forces killed the head of the country's most powerful drug cartel while attempting to capture him. The killing of the man known as El Mencho has unleashed violence in multiple Mexican states, with videos showing torched vehicles. According to Mexico's security cabinet, at least 20 banks have been damaged and at least nearly 24 highways were blocked. In a post on X, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum asked for calm and tried to reassure the Mexican people that federal and state governments are working together. We turn now to.
Okay. Now let's go to this Fox report. I want to hear what they're going to say. And it's so interesting because Trump and MAGA and Fox News, who's also MAGA, they're always trying to promote this false narrative that, that the violence is coming, political violence specifically, is coming from the left. When everyone who has attempted to take Trump up out of here is always on the right. It's always its own base. It's always MAGA. Do y'all pay attention? Okay, is it just me that notices these things? I find it also interesting that they try to blame everything of nefariousness on the left. Okay, when it's them. Okay, it's them who spews the hate, and it's them who are the idiots and imbeciles who have no common sense nor critical thinking skills and who are always resorting to violence because they can't contain their emotions and they don't know how to act when things don't go their way. Okay, please pay attention.
News. Mexico is at war tonight. The drug cartels taking on the Mexican federal government and threatening to kill anyone who gets in their way.
It started with the killing of a cartel boss and quickly erupted into gun battles across much of the country and leading the U.S. to put out a do not travel advisory on most of the country. Megan Spector joins us in the studio after speaking with multiple Arizonans caught in the crossfire. Megan.
Yeah, I did. Well, this is a look at the travel advisories map from the U.S. Department of State. Today's chaos and violence in Mexico just adding more restrictions as Americans who are already there are being warned to shelter in place.
I'm devastated, scared, and then we don't know if we're going to make it out of here.
Calling Fox 10 from Guadalajara, Mexico, Salida Ponce from Maricopa says she's terrified.
It's just like a war, oh my God, the attacks were horrible.
A day of violence erupting in Mexico after a military operation led to the death of a cartel leader. Now parts of the country under attack. As flights are canceled, streets are closed, and tourists told to shelter in place.
The vibes changed really fast, right? Yesterday was a beautiful, wonderful Puerto Vallarta vacation day. And then today just feels very eerie and very vacant looks from the staff, asking them if their families are okay, just trying to figure out how do we get out of here and are we safe here?
Melissa Selvi, an Arizonan sheltering in place at her resort in Mexico, shares photos with us from her balcony.
Multiple fires popping up from different directions and then seeing kind of the look on the staff and the unknowns from the people trying to catch a cab to the airport, trying to sort through fact and fiction. And just a lot of unknown for today.
Waiting in the hotel for updates, she sent videos from the resort staff out in the streets.
He texted my cell phone and said, Miss Melissa, please do not leave the hotel. It is very dangerous.
Flights to Mexico canceled, suspended, and even diverted back to Sky Harbor.
We're stranded right now, basically.
An inconvenience for this out-of-state traveler, but one he's grateful for as chaos south of the border continues.
Kind of alarming, and glad that it was caught before we were actually landed. So
there's just not a lot of information going back and forth. And I think that nobody saying anything also makes it a little more intense. And we're just confused. Are we supposed to keep going? Are we on vacation? Are we in danger?
We did hear from several Arizona leaders commenting on this situation. Congressman Greg Stanton's office putting out resources and contact numbers for Arizonans who are trying to get out of Mexico right now and encouraging those people to enroll in the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program to help the U.S. Embassy connect with them.
I looked up about 15,000 expats live in that area, most of them Americans. The first woman on the phone, how's she doing tonight?
We've been in close contact throughout.
Okay, so I hope they everything turns out good and that all of our citizens get back safely. Okay, now listen, I guarantee you, Trump's probably going to come out and say how he told Scheinbaum that he would help her with the cartels and she didn't want his help and all this and that. No, she didn't want your help, and clearly she didn't need it. Okay, because the man's now dead. All right, the man is now dead, and people like her know that once you or if you give Trump a foothold. Okay, you won't be able to get rid of him, honey. Give him an inch and he will always take the mile. Okay, that's what he'll do. Now, with that all being said, Edward said, to me, it's both sides. Now, Edward, beloved, so do you mean the Democrats and the Republicans? Well, I have to beg to differ, sir. Could you please explain to the rest of us who clearly don't know what you're talking about? What do you mean? Who on the left, name a person on the left or an incident on the left recently in the past year since Trump's been in office who has done anything nefarious such as try to take him up out of here? Okay, who has done a mass shooting? It's not both sides, honey. Both sides may be nefarious. They're two birds of the same feather, right? But at the end of the day, the people that are with all the political smoke and violence, oh, you know that's MAGA. You know that's the right. Okay, you know that's the right. You can't tell me one Democrat that was out here doing such nefarious things in the last year. Okay, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about Kash Patel. Because they're going in on him. He's getting dragged out here in these streets because he was, while all of this stuff's going on in Mexico and other places, and in the United States, Trump, you know, somebody coming to Mar-a-Lago and all of that, brandishing a firearm and a gas canister. But yet he's over there having a good old time with the U.S. hockey team. Okay, let's talk about it. Over there partying hard and drinking beer at the taxpayer's dime, no less. Because who do y'all think's footing the bill? Okay, who do you think is footing the bill?
Well, Patriots, this one stings. Obviously, the USA Olympic team beat Canada in overtime today. That was an amazing feeling, right? And then all of the aura left the room as soon as the video started circulating of them in the locker room, and none other than Kash Patel partying with them. On American taxpayer dollars, he said he was going over there for business. That was a lie. He's in the locker room acting like a frat boy, throwing beer up in the air, spiking the table as if he had anything to do with their win. And this one hurts. It's just like deflating a balloon right in front of you, right? When we have the crisis going on in Mexico where they're literally calling out for Americans to just, they're taking out Americans, right? Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy, has been missing for 20 days now, 21 maybe. And he's over there partying in Milan, right? Everything is happening. What about the Island Boy files, right? Who he knows nothing about. It is a disgusting video. And I have to say, Team USA Hockey, I am very disgusted in you. You could have had anybody in that room partying with you and you had to let Kash Patel in. Like, I would have had so much respect for you guys if you didn't let that Four Eyes clown in the room, because it's on our dollars, right? While we're getting charged for all these tariffs, right? While they're adding more money and taxes on top of the tariffs, while Americans are hurting. We don't get to go to Milan and party with Team USA. So why do we have to pay for that jack off to go over there and party with our team? Disappointing. You guys just let all the aura out of the building. They even put the gold medal around his neck. Disgraceful.
Y'all remember Sam? Because I've had Sam on my channel for a panel discussion. I met Sam when we were in New York for Diddy's trial, and me and him were both attacked by this nefarious homeless man. Okay, now with that all been said, Edward says a guy running for the Minnesota governor race, his daughter was killed. He's a Republican. What does that have to do with anything, sir? I said, let me know when a person on the left did anything pertaining to political violence in the last year since Trump's been in office. Now, was that man who killed the daughter, was he a Democrat? Let's see, shall we? Because y'all know I go looking for the receipts. Charges filed against suspect in fatal stabbing of daughter of Minnesota governor candidate. This was reported February the 10th. Charges were filed Tuesday against a St. Cloud man for allegedly fatally stabbing his wife, the daughter of a candidate for Minnesota governor. Now, Dylan, oh, this is, honey, I don't even have to go any further. This is a domestic dispute, boo-boo. So I'm sorry. Nice way to try it, but you know I'm going to do my receipt checking, right? You know I'm going to fact check you, right? So is it safe for me to assume that you got nothing? Yikes. Is it safe for me to assume, Edward, that you don't have a case that you can point out to verify and clarify that what you said is in fact accurate and true? When you say it's both sides, it's not both sides, okay? It's not both sides, all right? Please pay attention. Okay, y'all gonna learn to stop trying to correct the queen when you don't know what you're talking about. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm the creator, okay? Please pay attention. Now, that all being said, that was a domestic dispute. Had nothing to do with politics. I specifically said when it comes to political violence, beloved, it is the right that is the ones engaging in it, not the left, okay? It's not both sides. Now, both sides may be nefarious, as I said, but what they're not doing, okay, what they're not doing is that. Now let's continue because you know they said that Mr. Cash Patel, hold on, let me go to this clip where we can see just exactly how hard he was out there partying. Okay, like some everyone please like and share. Now I'm gonna mute the volume. I'm gonna mute the volume because they had music playing. Oh man, are you serious? Well, can't show you all. Sorry. They want me to log in and I don't have time. Now, so let's continue. Let's continue. Don't come at me with no receipts. Ha! Edward said you want more. Edward, what are you talking about more? Beloved, you had your chance. Now, if you can find one, please go ahead. But the bottom line is that wasn't more. Do you mean do I want one? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's what I want. One. You don't act like more because that would imply that you already sent me something that verifies what you said, and it doesn't. Okay, so now here's the thing. You know, they're saying that there's more people calling for Trump to, in fact, okay, there's more people calling for him to be impeached. Harrisburg calls for Trump impeachment. Let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen.
People shout because we can vote you out. Impeach, convict, and throw him out. Toss him out.
I was a protester during the Vietnam War, and it never left me. I thought I wouldn't have to do this again.
On the National Day of Direct Action, protesters met in downtown Harrisonburg with two main goals: impeach President Donald Trump and abolish ICE.
And we have to start from the top, and we need to do a clean out.
Across the country, protesters lobbied for impeachment outside of the 435 local district U.S. representatives' offices. In Harrisonburg, protesters met outside of Republican Representative Ben Klein's office.
He is supposed to be our representative to the U.S. Congress, and so far, I am not seeing that he is upholding his duties.
The protesters delivered a list of 10 demands to Klein's office.
Impeach Trump, impeach Noam, and get us back to law and order.
Their demands called for several impeachments at the federal level. The list also asked Klein to support the abolition of ICE and to advocate for the full release of the unredacted Epstein files.
Trump is in the files, the Epstein files.
Please hear us. We, the people, are not happy. We're not content with how we're being represented.
I reached out to Klein's office for comment and did not receive a response. Reporting for Breeze.
I start singing Trump is in the files, Trump is in the files to the tune of the farmer in the Dale. Did y'all hear it? Do y'all remember that when we were in school in elementary, the farmer in the Dale? Yeah, Trump is in those files. He absolutely is. He thought he was going to fool his fan base. Now, he may have fooled some of them, the ones who failed to read and research, okay, or even pick up anything that has lettering on it, okay, because clearly a lot of them are illiterate. Let's just keep it a buck. Now, with that all being said, let's continue, because what I find interesting is that the president of France, Macron, they say he's plotting revenge on Africa, and that's specifically Burkina Faso. And they say that he has a plot. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just hearing words and things out there in these streets, but they're basically saying that he's plotting to take out Ibrahim Traoré. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention, honey. They're mad because they've been cut out of going over there and stealing up all those resources. Okay, that's what it has to be. That's my opinion. But let's go to this report. And they even reported a few weeks ago, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, that there was some white woman who they sent over there, some French white woman they sent over there to try to get her to gather up information and receipts to try to find out how many soldiers they got, how many airstrikes they can do, or some kind of stuff, honey. Basically, this was all reported supposedly by Russian intelligence. Okay, so shout out to Putin for letting the Africans know what's really going down. Okay. What's really going down. Americans can say they don't like Putin all they want. But at the end of the day, Putin's not going over there trying to take advantage of the Africans. Okay, these other people are. All right, so let's get into it.
सोनामुखी, हरड़, मुलेठी जैसी अनेक जड़ी बूटियां और हजारों वर्षों का प्राचीन आयुर्वेदिक ज्ञान इस एक बोतल में समाया हुआ है। कायम टैबलेट, आपकी खुशियों का साथी।
An explosive charge shaking geopolitics from Paris to Africa's Sahel. Russia's intelligence agencies accusing French President Emmanuel Macron of plotting political revenge in Africa. According to Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, or SVR, France is no longer just losing influence in Africa, it is allegedly trying to claw it back through destabilization, covert operations, and even targeted assassinations. Now, these are allegations and they come from Russian intelligence, a key detail we will come back to, but the claims tap into real anger, real history, and a real power struggle unfolding across Africa right now. So what exactly is being alleged and why now? Let's break it down. For decades, France was the dominant power in parts of Africa, especially the Sahel region, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, former French colonies. Paris had troops on the ground, political influence, and economic leverage. But that influence has collapsed dramatically. In recent years, Mali kicked out French troops. Burkina Faso cut military ties. Niger expelled French forces and diplomats. These countries accused France of interfering in their politics, failing to stop jihadist violence, and even supporting armed groups to justify a continued French military presence. France, on the other hand, says these military governments are illegitimate, refuses to recognize them, and insists it is supporting a return to a civilian rule. This standoff has turned bitter. Now comes the bombshell. Russia's SVR claims President Macron has authorized France's special services to eliminate what it calls undesirable leaders in Africa, leaders who openly reject French influence and speak against what they call neo-colonialism.
Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? Those who reject the French and also speak against neo-colonialism. So he's ordering them to take out these African leaders. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention to the devils, because the devils are the same all over the planet. Okay, make no mistake.
The most serious allegation concerns Burkina Faso. The SVR says France was linked to a failed coup attempt on January 3, which allegedly included plans to assassinate Burkina Faso's military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a young leader who has become a symbol of anti-French resistance in the region. The accusations don't stop there. France is also accused of sabotaging fuel convoys in Mali, trying to blockade cities, fueling unrest in the Central African Republic, and even coordinating with Ukraine to supply militants with drones and trainers, a claim Paris has strongly denied in the past. The Madagascar, the SVR alleges France is trying to topple the interim president who took power after the removal of previous leader in the late 2025. And just days ago, Niger's transitional leader accused France and neighboring states of sponsoring mercenaries behind an attack on Niamey's international airport. So why is Russia saying all this? Well, here's the bigger picture for you. As France retreats, Russia is stepping in through diplomacy, military partnerships, and influence campaigns. Moscow now positions itself as Africa's ally against Western neocolonialism, while Paris is portrayed as a bitter former ruler unwilling to let go. That makes this not just an Africa story, it is a global power struggle now. France has not responded to these latest claims, but it has repeatedly denied supporting terrorists or plotting coups. And that is where the caution comes in. These allegations come from Russian intelligence, a player with its own strategic interest. There is no independent verification yet of these claims. But here's the key point. Whether or not every accusation is true, France's credibility in Africa is at its lowest point in decades. Anti-French sentiment is real. Military governments are consolidating power, and Africa's geopolitical map is changing fast.
I think that everything that Russian intelligence has said about Macron is absolutely true. He's ticked off. Okay, he is ticked off. I absolutely believe it. And first of all, we already know that something's afoot. That's why they sent that woman over there. Okay, trying to gather intel. All right, yeah. So with that all been said, I absolutely believe it. Now, LeVar says both sides engage in political violence, but historically it's been more common on the right. In 2025, the left had more incidents. Before that, it was consistently the right. Okay, thank you for doing your research, because that's what it sounds like you just did. But the bottom line is we're not talking about previously, we're talking about right now, because what I specifically said is in the last year since Trump's been in office. Okay, the last year since Trump's been in office. That's what I said. Okay, so all that, the who did what last time is irrelevant, beloved. But thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. But no, I'm talking about right now. See, because here's the thing. The right is currently lying and pushing a whole false narrative, always constantly, specifically the white supremacist, or shall I say the wanton supremacist, the bald-headed eagle by the name of Stephen Miller. He keeps coming out pushing that narrative, and I'm not going to help him paint it. So I'm a counter, okay, the lies with truth. The truth is, it's the right. And the ones that have tried to take Trump out specifically are the right, his own base. Okay, his own base has turned on him. That's the narrative, and it's a true one. Okay, but now let's go to this video that I forgot to show you with this man going in on Kash Patel, calling him pathetic. Okay, and then we're going to go to him partying so hard. I'm going to have to mute it like I told you all. Okay, that's right. Leon said Africa doesn't need France, but France needs Africa. Exactly.
Patel party with the U.S. men's hockey team in the locker room after they won the gold is one of the most pathetic things I have ever seen. What is so pathetic about Patel and what is so indicative of the entire Trump administration is trying to ride on other people's coattails, trying to have an experience which you didn't generate but want to have as your own. It's not just that he's in the locker room with them as the head of the FBI. It's not just that he used taxpayer money to act as a hype man at a sports event when he's not an ambassador or a secretary of state, but he's supposed to be running the Federal Bureau of Investigation, doing serious things. It's not just that the main news story on those networks trying to cover up Epstein is Nancy Guthrie, and that investigation is ongoing and needs a leader. And if you've ever watched The Fugitive, you know it matters to have a leader who's actually helped guiding. It's not the fact that the very day that he's there in Italy so he can drink with a bunch of kids, that the cartels in Mexico are almost going to all-out war with the Mexican government, the same cartels which are sending the fentanyl into the United States. In other words, it's a pretty big deal when the cartels are activated through their entire system into a sort of warfare, either to protect American assets or to move where they may be vulnerable. He should be in the room doing his job, but he's not. He is over there trying to welch off somebody else's hard work. He's hanging out with a bunch of 20-year-olds, if that, who are incredible athletes, incredibly dedicated, who did an incredible thing by winning a gold medal. He's not just there to congratulate them or as a proxy for the United States government. He's there because he wants to be one of them. He is acting like he won something. As somebody who's accomplished some goals in life and failed at others, I think that is so pathetic. To think that you can behave exactly as someone who did the work and the winning, and that it's your experience, you get to feel like you won a gold. It's not the same thing as being a fan or being there as a representative. That is stunted, pathetic. I cannot get over how far off course the United States government has got, but good God, We are never going back to what brought us here. It is time for real leadership when this is done.
I'm going to tell you all like this. That's hilarious to me that he's that darn angry over Cash Patel's ridiculous self over their partying on the taxpayers' dime, having a good old time with the U.S. hockey team. Here's the thing, though, sir. Why haven't you been that angry or equally as upset about the Epstein files, sir? Why haven't you been shouting to the tip top of your lungs about the Epstein files and what we've seen and read and heard? Okay? Honey, it doesn't make any sense for anyone to be that pressed unless they talk about the Epstein files. Okay, now I know Cash Patel's a whole fool. We all know that, as we're about to witness in this next clip. Okay, now again, I muted the volume. This is just a 30-second clip, but I muted it because they're playing music. But I want you all to see the director of the FBI, honey. While all this crime is going on, human trafficking is at an all-time high, allegedly. And this is what the devil's doing. Mm, mm, mm. Clearly a whole fool. Clearly a whole fool, honey, acting like a frat boy, okay? How old is he again? All right. Reggie said he looks foolish. Beloved, he looks foolish because that's exactly what he is, foolish. All right. FBA Justice says, I'm glad to see some of Africa stand on business. May the Most High help them be successful for the good of Africans everywhere. Absolutely, beloved. I absolutely agree. And thank you for your contribution to the channel and your insight to the topic. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, now let's continue because, honey, when I tell you that the Somalians have the audacity, dare I say, to be out here begging for some reparations, y'all to pay attention. These are the same people that want to go in on us. They want to say we're born from one night stands, and that we are lazy, that we don't do anything. We don't deserve reparations. But excuse me, all the hell that our ancestors went through, that we continuously go through in this country, and they think we don't need reparations, but they do because they had one little old incident. First of all, y'all don't need no reparations because according to calculations, y'all stole up all that money down there in Minnesota. Now, that's not me saying it, but that's what they're saying. That's what the reports are saying. They said y'all committed fraud in the excessive amount of over $1 billion. So I'd say y'all already got reparations. You took them. Okay, that's what you did. So with that all been said, reparations is unlikely, Somalians. And if they get reparations, let me tell y'all something, black folk. If they should give these Somalians some reparations for the incidents that's going on with ICE, and we've never gotten any for all the hell we've been through, okay, and for the police shootings and murderings of unarmed black folk, for Jim Crow, for slavery, for redlining, for black codes, okay, for violations of rights, all right, for the trafficking of our precious children, for organ harvesting that mostly affects us. I mean, if we haven't gotten anything for the lynchings in this country, all right, if we haven't gotten any reparations and they get reparations, baby, it's going to be some smoke in this country, okay? Because if we don't get out there and take to the streets, okay? Because that's exactly what we're going to do. That'll be one time I'll get out there and be protesting, okay? You let them get reparations before we do, okay? That's not going to turn out too good. Because we're going to raise hell about it. We're going to have to, okay? It would be unrighteous to do anything less, as far as I'm concerned. But let's hear what they have to say.
To our criteria of small business owners, not those who make 200,000 and above. We don't make that much amount. We have been suffering since the crisis of ICE. We also demand an immediate help to evictions so families are not pushed to homelessness during the crisis. Our community deserves accountability. Our community deserves safety. We need also justice for those who lost their lives defending the community. Leave program.
a Somalian lose their life? Did any Somalians, somebody let me know. Did any Somalians lose their lives trying to protect and defend the community? I didn't think so. I thought those were two white people by the name of Alex Preddy and Nicole Good. So they're trying to get compensation for them too? Let me continue, honey.
Somalis are demanding reparations because of what happened with ICE. Send a flood. Look at this. Can't make this up.
Fits into our criteria of small business owners, not those who make 200,000 and above. We don't make that much amount. We have been suffering since the crisis of ICE. We also demand
actually owes them something. What? It gets to a point, y'all's community that you demanding stuff for literally scammed the government out of $1 billion plus.
Barilla says the Somalians were out there protesting where they should be out there protesting, beloved. They should be out there protesting against ICE. They're immigrants. ICE is here to deport immigrants. They're out there to harass the immigrants, so they should be out there protesting. Okay, that's their cause. But should you be compensated for that? Okay, should you be compensated? None of them lost their lives. Okay, none of them lost their lives. And if they did, that would be an individual consensus, okay, where they would need to deal with that. But at the end of the day, these people don't deserve any reparations for this little incident. Honey, and this just goes to show how weak they are. I want y'all to pay attention. The same ones that talk about us and call us weak, honey, they're and lazy and all of that, they're weaklings. Because after this one little incident, so y'all really think y'all deserve reparations? After all the numerous things that we've gone through, like, please sit down somewhere, okay? That's what they can do as far as I'm concerned.
What in the Twilight Zone upside down Freaky Friday Matrix type of shit is going on here? Because you can't, what? It like y'all sitting up here demanding things from the United States government that allowed you all to come in here to seek refuge. Literally over 80% of your community is receiving government assistance. Y'all haven't been paying into the system for centuries. Y'all didn't build this country. Y'all don't really add, what did y'all add to the infrastructure? Coming here and starting a business is not the same as building a country. Coming here and opening a daycare center and having your son and your cousin and your stepson as the kids that go to the daycare center is not the same as a hard working, we work so goddamn hard. Getting government handouts and assistance. What is going on here? And the fact that you even have the balls to demand anything is diabolical. Get them out of here. And I'm not talking about all for the ones that are legalized. They're living their lives. They're not bothering nobody. They ain't trying to get all up in the hoopla. Leave those people alone. But this lady and the people in the back of her, somebody, they need some BTA. They need a little bit of straightening. Because I don't understand how these people really. I'm trying to understand.
It's all nefarious. Because like she said, why do they think they're owed something? I mean, it's the sense of entitlement for me. Now, Barilla said outside of possible funding for their businesses, they don't deserve a dime. No, they don't. Okay, they absolutely don't. And don't you find it interesting that they can actually get funding for their businesses, but we can't? And we've been here, born here, and likely going to die here. Okay, like Samuel L. Jackson said in School Days. I find it interesting. But hold on, here's one of them explaining his plight. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. Okay, at the end of the day, here's the thing. Now, what I'm going to need to know from the Somalian community, specifically in Minnesota, since they think they deserve reparations because because of the things going on with ICE, well, the question for me is, are y'all okay? I mean, where are y'all's pirates? Where's the pirates among them who be out there attacking those ships and holding folk for ransom and stealing the cargo and all that? If you want reparations, call them and tell them to send you some. Okay, because last I checked, they out there committing all kind of piracy at the seas, on the seas, nonetheless. Okay.
I repeatedly told the agents that I'm a U.S. citizen and I had my ID and passport. Instead, the agents ignored my pleas and forced me to the ground and placed me in a headlock. The injuries and trauma from that day have stayed with me.
If he don't sit his chocolate covered behind down somewhere, I'm sorry, this is the same song that Black people been singing for years, decades. What about all the Black people that lost their lives at the hands of police? Now, you were harassed, so you say. You were inconvenienced. You were made to feel uncomfortable. But our people have died, shed blood by the gallons in this nefarious country, pools of blood. Let's not forget about Devil's Punch Bowl. Could go on and on and on. What about the Scottsboro boys, which we're about to talk about today for our Black History moment? Okay, what about Emmett Till? What about all the atrocities? Okay, sir, you really look stupid right now. All of them look stupid asking for any darn thing because of one little incident and nobody got killed. Nobody lost their life. Yeah, I'm going to need them to have several seats in a whole empty stadium.
And has changed our lives. I am raising funds to support my recovery, including trauma-informed mental health therapy and counseling, medical care for stress-related symptoms and physical symptoms.
Call up your cousins who was running fake-ass daycares and clinics. Call them up and say, see you, break you off a couple dollars. And, we'll just,
Please.
we'll just forget all about it. Because I'm just saying, we talk about a whole lot more money than $200 million. We're in the billions. Y'all stole billions of dollars out of Minnesota, out of taxpayers' pockets.
I repeatedly told the agents that I'm a...
Sir, we've heard enough. We have heard a mother clucking enough. All right, that's what we've heard. Now, mind you, let's go to this video. I haven't seen this, but this lady said they're going to start a civil war for real now. Who's going to start a civil war, beloved? Don't tell me it's the Somalians, because who they going to be fighting against? Hold on, let's get into it.
So y'all mean to tell me that the Somalis are now demanding reparations because of ICE? Are you for real? Are you serious? Because let me tell you something. That is the greatest way to start a civil war. Give them reparations if you want to. And the Black community being promised reparations from the Democratic Party since what, the past 160 years, basically? Like, be for real. Be for real. It's the audacity for me. You have the audacity to come to my country, to steal from me, and then demand reparations when you have literally done nothing. At least Black people got a case when they asked for reparations because they were brought here on their own. They didn't come on their own. They were brought here and they had to build this country for free. Okay? They were slaves. Okay? And we couldn't even get reparations, but y'all demanded reparations because y'all feelings is hurt, because y'all got caught stealing. Like, dude, baby, let me tell you something. This is really, 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 really pissing me off. It's the audacity. And then you have a press conference to announce that you want reparations. Are you cool? Are you cool? Bro, if they don't round these mugs up and send them back to where they came from so they can have a greater appreciation for America, that's going to be a problem. That's what needs to happen. They need to go back to where they came from so they can realize just how good they got it here and stop reparations. I don't think I'm going to ever get over this. I don't think I'm going to ever get over the fact that the Somalis are asking for reparations. I will never get over this. That's a problem. That is a whole problem. And the real problem is you liberal white people, y'all letting them. Y'all letting them feel like they got the power and authority and they're entitled to it. Y'all letting them feel like that. Give Somalians reparations, and that's going to indeed.
Okay, let me tell you something. I find it all interesting, quite frankly, nefarious. Now, with that all being said, before I get into my next segment, let me just ask you all, did you all hear about the man who they say had Tourette's? And he called Michael B. Jordan, and I believe it was Delroy Lindo. Yeah, Delroy Lindo called them the N-word, said he yelled out the N-word or the N-word. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear about it? Let's go to this report from Secret Service Sam. Honey, because I don't know anything about this. Okay, I was probably somewhere doing research. Let's get into it.
Did you guys see the BAFTA Awards? Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan were presenting the first award of the night, and a guy with Tourette's backstage yells the N-word. You can hear it clear as day. And my question is, I've never heard a black guy with Tourette's yell saltines. Like, if they knew that this guy with Tourette's had a tendency to say stuff like this, should they have had him close to a mic? You know, maybe they should have kept him in the parking lot until it was time for him to come on. I mean, look. And Michael B. Jordan and Delroy just sat there like quiet. I would have been like, hold on, what did he just say? What? Like, and then what's his name? Alan Cummings said, look, it happens. I mean, there is how much explain, and it was Black History Month. It's Black History Month. Come on. This guy's a sinner, if you know what I mean. I don't know, man. It's disrespectful. I understand. I know people with Tourette's. I've heard of things like this where people word that they know they shouldn't say. But if you know that about yourself, go into the bathroom, okay? And control it, or, you know, put your hand over your mouth. Good Lord. Secret Service, Sam out.
I'm through. Okay, the nerve. Okay, Roddy said Tourette's doesn't make you do that. Said doesn't make you do. You know, here's the thing. I always felt like possibly Tourette's was some sort of demonic possession or something, because I always wonder, why do they always blurt out bad things? Why? Queen Ahmadiyyah is laughing because he said sinners, right? Because Michael B. Jordan. But why do they always blurt out such nefarious things like curse words out of the blue? You know, during church services and such. Why do they do stuff like that? I just don't understand. How come they never blurt out anything like, praise Jesus, God is good? Why don't they blurt out anything like that? They have to be demonically possessed, in my opinion. They have to be demonically possessed, in my opinion, because why? Okay, it just doesn't make it. Y'all can't say anything nice. I mean, I get it that you randomly blurt out things because you can't help yourself due to your situation, but why does it have to be all nefariousness? Okay, can't walk up to somebody, hey, how you doing? You having a good day? Instead, they walk up and say, clock you, mother. This is what they do. Like, I'm so done. Okay, I am so done. They literally just never say anything nice when they have those fits. Okay. DJ Big Six, that's exactly what they'll blurt out. Goddamn. Okay, real quick. They can't say anything nice. Why didn't he say Michael B. Jordan? Delroy Lindo? He said Jigger. That's what he said. Okay, yeah, stop. Okay, I'm gonna need y'all to stop. Okay. So anyway, let's continue, because you remember I told you all the other day that I had some information about the Epstein files that we didn't get to. So we're going to get into that. Okay, then we're going to have our little old Black History moment. Then the Queen's out of here. Classy and Fabulous is, my niece has Tourette's. She's 25. She doesn't blurt out negative stuff. Well, that's probably because she's not possessed by demons, beloved. Okay, good to hear. Because literally, I've never seen one of them blurt out anything nice. It's nefariousness. It's always nefariousness. So I felt like the devil had a hand in it. Okay, the devil made me do it. Why don't they blurt that out after? Okay, why don't they blurt that out after? Blank you blankety blank B. The devil made me do it. I'm just saying, I make it all make sense. But let me get serious here. Okay, so now let's get into it. This man is out here on the street corner, you all, protesting against the Epstein files, and Trump and his nefarious administration refuses to do anything about it. Okay, let's get into it.
I am out here in John Brown's, Kansas, spreading the word about the global sex trafficking network that the U.S. government is currently involved in. It's active right this second. the DOJ is covering up and the FBI know about and are complicit, and I'm pretty sure the CIA funds it. I will not shut up about this. Thank you so much for all who are saying to stay safe, but I'm not worried about my safety. I'm worried about the survivors and those who didn't get a chance to survive. Thank you so much. I stay prayed up. I pray to my ancestors. I pray to the Creator. I feel this in my soul that this is my purpose to speak out about this, and I will not stop. Thank you guys all so much for sharing my video. It's much appreciated. Get the word out, and I'm trying to organize more people, but I will stand alone if I have to. I am not afraid. Be not afraid, it says in the Bible. I don't believe the Bible, but if you believe the Bible, believe in God, and believe whatever you want to believe spiritually. But we're up against principalities. The entire justice system is involved.
He said the entire system is involved, the court system, CPS. But listen, here's the thing that made me cackle. He said that he doesn't believe in the Bible, but he's up there quoting the Bible. He said, if y'all believe the Bible or whatever you believe, or if you don't, I don't believe the Bible, but what? Then he started talking about we're up against principalities. Sir, that's from the scripture. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, okay? And all of that, darkness in high places. But you don't believe in the Bible, sir? Why are you quoting it? Sir, I'm gonna need you to explain that. Why are you quoting the Bible if you don't believe in it, okay? But anyway, bless his heart. He's out there. He's ready to fight, ready to die if need be. He'll stand alone, just like the cheese in that song we used to sing back in the day, The Farmer in the Dale. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let me stop clowning this man. I'm just trying to be funny, but because I'm in a good mood this morning. But no, I'm really shouldn't be poking fun at this man. But seriously, he is at least willing to do something, take a stand, and get out there and say something. Okay, despite many people who are just trying to, act like there's nothing to see here, folks, and are just being quiet about the situation. But then you had that reporter who got so upset about Kash Patel having a beer or two and acting a whole fool like a, like a frat boy. I mean, okay, I get it, but where's all that energy for the Epstein files? Okay. Now let's continue, because this is a report about what was uncovered on the Epstein files by CNN. Let's get into it.
CNN review of the Epstein files uncovered at least 7 videos featuring unredacted women. This girl, dressed in a bikini and heels, seemingly doing a model walk, says she is just 15 years old. It was only after CNN inquired about them that a DOJ spokesperson said Thursday the videos in question have been removed and are being reviewed for appropriate redactions. This error message is now in the video's place. One of the videos included brief nudity when a young woman pulls up her shirt to expose her breast after singing Happy Birthday. The publication of these videos risk the potential re-victimization of women who may have been abused by Epstein years ago. It was also in violation of the DOJ's stated criteria on what information would be redacted in the Epstein files in order to protect the victims.
To protect victims, we redacted every woman depicted in any image or video, with the exception of Ms. Maxwell. We did not redact images of any men, unless it was impossible to redact the woman without also redacting the man.
I don't believe them at all. I don't believe them, okay? And then Just Anticipate said, and his ancestors. Yeah, I almost laughed when he said that, because, Black people started that, talking about praying to the ancestors, and now it's interesting to see other people say they pray to their ancestors, okay? I don't know if his ancestors would be much help, depending on what type of ancestors he had. Were his ancestors the good, righteous white folk, okay, who would have fought for civil rights and things like that beside Dr. King, or were his ancestors the nefarious ones who were enslaving people and out there being whole Klansmen? Okay, I just have several questions. Now, with that all being said, did I tell you all last week, I think I did report to you, that there was aliens in the Epstein files? Now, I want you all to look at this very closely. Okay, look at this video very closely. All right, looks like an alien in the background of one of those Epstein videos.
Seen the Epstein video where the alien is in the background? Yeah, okay, so it's a close-up of Jeffrey Epstein's face, right? But then you can see in the background, and there's this figure, and, well, let me just show you the video, because it's very interesting. Okay, so here's his face, and you can kind of see in the back. Now I'm going to show you I'm going to show you it again. Close up.
Y'all
Like,
see that?
what?
So I watched this video and I'm like kind of looking back there and I'm going, yeah, that does kind of look like some kind of entity back there. So I decided that what I would do is just go to ChatGPT. I just did it just immediately. And I just said, enhance this video or this photo. And with no hesitation, and I'm just going to show you the image. I put the image in, I asked the question, and this is what it kicked out. Of all things to kick out, this is crazy. I'm like, man. Anyway, here it is.
Y'all see that? Now look at that. I wish y'all could see it as good as I can, but clearly looks like a darn alien, one of the greats.
And really, to be quite honest with you, I honestly believe that what we're in right now is what's called a soft disclosure. We've been asking, hey, are aliens real? This kind of thing. This whole Epstein thing is just the revelation of what they've been saying. Congress had just recently, and I say within the last year or so, acknowledged the fact that there are entities. They don't call them extraterrestrial, they call them interdimensional. They say they've been here and they're underground and under the sea. This is Congress, man. I mean, like I said, I was talking about this 20 years ago. These are not ETs. These are not aliens from another planet or some other dimension. These are devils. And we've been dealing with these for the longest, and we really hadn't known it. So the soft disclosure is to reveal the fact that they are here and that they are not good. They are not benevolent. They are malevolent and diabolical. And the only way to deal with them is the name of Jesus. Go check the history.
Okay. Barilla said, oh, no, I'm sorry. Oh, you were talking to App Barillas. Okay. I'm sorry for putting that on the screen. I thought you were talking to me. Now, with that all being said, Barilla said that could it be someone wearing an alien suit? Well, here's the question, beloved. Why would someone wear an alien suit? Nobody ever knew that we all would be able to see that video or that picture. No one knew that. Okay, no one knew that. So what would be the point of that? No, absolutely. What's in that picture, in my opinion, was absolutely something that was right there. And see, here's the thing. When you deal with a devil and demons, paranormal activity will happen around you. So whatever that thing was clearly something paranormal. Okay, and they probably all see different types of things or whatever. These malevolent entities. Okay, but here's what I want you all to pay attention to. The bottom line is, I keep telling you all that something wicked this way comes, okay, and that if we don't stand up and do or say anything, that it's going to be real bad. Well, here's the thing. I want you all, because I told you I can't say everything I want to say that was in my dream, but here's the thing. Think back to in the Bible. Think back to in the Bible. You remember the story, and if you don't, go look it up. But remember the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? So remember how they were forced into the fiery furnace because they refused to bow down to the idol, the false image that was not their God. Hey, follow me. I'm going somewhere with this. Remember that story in the Bible? Now think about that story in the Bible if you know it. And now think about the video that I showed you on yesterday of the people in Iran burning the statues of Baal. Okay, do y'all want Baal to do you want the United States to have statues of Baal that you're expected to bow down to? And if you don't, you'll be thrown into the fiery furnace. Not literally, okay, but metaphorically. All right. Do you want that when we get on digital currency, which is about to happen soon? Because remember, they already came out and told us what I've told you all years ago, that Trump's going to usher in the NWO. And y'all know what that is, the new blank, you know what. So with that all being said, is that what y'all want? Is that how you want to live your life? Okay, you not bowing down to the people who are in charge. And I'm not talking about Trump's administration. I'm talking about the people that Trump and his administration work for, the people they sold us out to. Okay, so if you don't want to be slaves to these people who are clearly the ones in charge at this point, and if you don't want to be bowing down to their God, which is Baal, allegedly, but I'm just saying. So you might want to think about, joining us for the boycott on March the 7th. You might want to think about speaking up and saying something and showing your disdain for what we found in the Epstein files. Because here's the thing. I can't tell you this part. So these people feel like they had to show us these things. It had to come out because, that's just the way the universe works. It was time for these things to come out. But they also had to show it to us because what do I always tell you all? When the devils are doing things, they have to give us the free will. We have free will, so they have to let us see it. That's why they put subliminals in movies. So all of these things are about to happen. Now, Reggie says, remember that 10, soft disclosure. Okay, soft disclosure. Do you remember when I showed you all the video, the trailer to that movie that's coming out sometime this year? Disclosure Day. And I told you all how now we notice they keep using the word disclosure. The government keeps using it. The media, the mainstream media keeps using it. So we know they're about to disclose something soon. And they're preparing us for it. They're prepping us for it. So, some people think they're about to have the alien invasion. The false one, that is, Project Bluebeam. I tend to agree with that. But what I also have to think is that these people are going to put this stuff right here in our face. See, what they're doing now is testing the temperature. The files have been released. How upset is the public? What is the public willing to do? Are they just going to accept it and sit back and complain about it, do videos and nothing is going to be happening or done? Or are they going to take to the streets? Are they going to boycott, cost us money? What are they going to do? Because if we do nothing, they're going to keep doing that stuff. And then they'll be doing it to where, we already know they're doing it. So now it'll just be out in the open. So now it's probably potentially going to get worse. And then if you start being a person who speaks against it, they'll go back to what they used to go to back in 2020, not allowing us to speak about any of it on social media, lest you be censored. And if you dare to speak about the specific people who worship Baal, the specific people who, are running things, the specific people who, in fact, Trump sold us out to, you start talking about that and you won't have a passport. Okay. And you might even end up in jail because that U.S. soldier said that he's now under investigation for daring to speak against those people. Okay. So I want you all to pay attention, but let me continue. Don't say you haven't been warned. Okay. Don't say you haven't been warned. All right. Now, with that all being said, let's continue. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Now, I want y'all to get a load of this. While Trump's talking about he didn't do with the Epstein files and all this, that, and the third, let's listen to this TikToker here. Okay. Trump needs to sit down somewhere. They need to hurry up and impeach him just as soon as they lose the midterms because they're going to lose.
There's a photo in the Epstein files that people seem to ignore. This image seems unimportant when you first look at it, but then when you pay attention, it's very upsetting. Pay close attention. 2 textbooks, 3 copies of a book named Fire and Fury. What is so important about it? It's just books on top of a metal rack, right? Unfortunately, this almost insignificant but very disturbing piece of evidence isn't just 2 textbooks and 3 copies of a book. Let's pay attention to the 2 textbooks. What is TOEFL IBT? It is an English proficiency exam that focuses on reading, listening, and writing proficiency. I do not think it is a stretch to assume and believe that he handed these proficiency exams to the girls that he trafficked. Therefore, a lot of these girls were not from the United States nor from Canada. Most of them were located in Eastern Europe, Asia, and Latino America. Moving on from there, we have the 3 copies of a book named Fire and Fury. The book title is actually a direct quote Trump gave when discussing his disputes with North Korea. This book was published in 2018 by Michael Wolff, and it analyzes Donald Trump's behavior during the 2016 presidential election and his campaign. No one is surprised by what I just mentioned. Why? Because we know that Donald Trump is in the files. We know that he was involved in the sex ring. And we know that he did heinous things to children, to babies, to young women, to teenage girls. It doesn't matter how much his campaign or Pam Bondi tries to clear his name. Everything in the files contradicts each and every single claim about him being innocent. Even this tiny, almost insignificant piece of evidence contradicts everything they are claiming.
Okay, so absolutely true. Okay, in my opinion. Now, with that all being said, let's go to the next clip. Roddy says, I believe this is how the Most High pays this out so you can plays this out so you can make the choice. Yes, it's the universal laws. People have free will. So, you know, at the end of the day, we all reap what we sow. So, like I told you all, this is not about the left or the right, Democrats or Republicans. This is not black or white. This is about good versus evil. Okay? And if you don't do anything
So
about
I'm
evil,
just outside, sitting in the rain, looking at the city skyline, thinking about how we're really run by pedophiles. The entire world is like full of pedophiles. And you know, I dibble and dabble in different theologies and religions and stuff like that. So I think about Gnosticism a lot and the archons. And if you believe in those theories, they eat us. Now, it can be they just eat our energy, our negative energy. That's why they put the spells on us and all those things. But no, they eat us. So if archons rule the world, it would make sense to me that there's a lot of pedophilia going on because, like, we're just food to them. It doesn't matter our fucking age. So then I just got to thinking, and I'm thinking about how recently the American government is trying to, and not just the American government, in several governments, they're trying to undo the freedoms that gay people have. And it made me think about the Bible. And I'm still thinking with a headspace of Gnosticism. I'm not thinking about this from a Christian point of view. So the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, there are some Gnostic theories that, yes, the town got destroyed because there was a lot of rape and sodomy happening. However, the people were also realizing that they were being like harvested, and that if they stop reproducing, there's nothing to harvest. And they were realizing all the things that I can accomplish with the opposite gender, I can do it with the same gender. And we don't have to make babies, and they're not eating us no more. Like, that was like their lick back. Like, we're just gonna stop fucking recreating. We're just gonna all fuck the same gender and extinct each.
okay, I don't know where she's getting her logic from. I don't know where she got that logic from. Okay, Reggie said the Gnostics were on point. Okay, now with that all being said, one box says they will disclose something coming from secret facilities like Area 51 and other facilities around the planet. They create or recreate things there. Keep this in mind as a sidebar. Okay, thank you, beloved. Okay, I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to have a whole fake alien invasion so that when the real aliens come, which is going to be our ancestors, they're going to want us to be afraid of them because they come here to put in that work. They're coming here to bring the smoke. Beloved, that's just what I think. Okay, now I could be wrong, but let's not forget that Simeon Toko said when he comes back, it's going to be more of them coming and they won't be able to stop them. Okay, who is he talking about? Okay, but I'm ready for them to return. Now, that being said, thank you for your insightful information to the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, wait till y'all get a load of this clip. Epstein survivor has something interesting to say.
As many of you know, certain e-files have come out that
have revealed some pretty disturbing things about certain elites. And some of it is so bad that I think it's obvious that there's some demonic element to it. I'd go so far to say that some of these people may not actually be fully human. They may be hybrids or shape-shifting beings. And in support of this, consider this testimony from Juliet Bryant, who is a verified survivor of Epstein, where she talks about him turning into some kind of lizard or serpent.
Seen anyone else turn into anything like that, and it happened. It was like a weird hologram, and it had like big black eyes.
You know, and I also saw Epstein shapeshift on the island. You know, when I was on the island, I saw Epstein like suddenly, and people have actually asked some pretty good questions recently. It wasn't like I saw him turning like the Incredible Hulk. What happened is, it was when I was taken in the bedroom the one time, and he had like a blanket up to here. And then I looked away and I looked at him, and suddenly it wasn't him anymore. It wasn't like I saw him turning. It was like it was him, and I looked away, and then when I looked back, it wasn't him. There was this weird creature. And then I looked away, and then I looked back, and it was him again.
Clearly sounds like a shapeshifter if you ask me. Okay, now I don't know if she really saw that or not, but I believe she did, okay? Because I've heard the same story before, specifically about Hillary Clinton. Somebody said Hillary Clinton turned into some sort of reptile that was brown with a huge mouth, sharp teeth like razor blades, and spots. Okay, now if it's a lie, they told it. I'm just telling you what I heard. Okay, but now let's continue, because this young man talks about the Epstein files and says that it's a big distraction, just a scandal. Let's get into it.
The Epstein files. You see, everybody wants to talk about the Epstein files, but it's a big distraction. This has been going on for many years. I went to Africa in 2011 for about 4 years, and I couldn't go outside in 2011. I couldn't go outside in 2012 because it was election year. My mother warned us and many other kids that sacrifice was happening. What many people don't understand is this is not new. This has been going on for centuries. The Epstein files is not about one man, it's about systems. Remember Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, meaning the people that we're facing against, they're not even human. It's principalities and rulers of dark places, which means it's spiritual. It's evil versus good. It's not Democrat versus Republican. It's not black versus white. It's not even man versus woman. It's against.
Okay, now didn't I tell you all this last week? Okay, exactly. This young man's on point. Pay attention.
It's good versus evil. Pure simple. You have to understand, right? When power systems are exposed, they don't collapse overnight. They minimize, they distract, they refrain. So everything right now is distraction. But why now? The waters are script. So the question isn't who's on the list. The question is, how did hidden power operate without accountability for decades? How did they get away with this? Because think about it, right? If everybody on the list got arrested, the whole system would collapse. So the choice is yours. Either you stay stuck in the system or you start waking up.
Okay? And waking up means that you do something. Okay? Oh, and also I forgot. I forgot who it was that said, hold on, why is everything always considered a distraction? Exactly, LeVar. You know, people do say that, people always say that something's a distraction. At the end of the day, it may be a distraction for them. Some things are distractions to people who are one-track minded. You can't distract me because I'm able to multitask and I can pay attention to multiple things at once, is all I'm saying. Now, listen to this. Shocking Epstein files. They're trying to say that this man on this flight with Epstein is none other than Doug Emhoff, Kamala's husband. Now, I can't say this is Doug Emhoff or not, but what I will say is it looks like Doug Emhoff, and what I also will say is Doug Emhoff wears a small hat. Okay, he wears small hats, not Kangos or baseball caps. Okay, please pay attention.
On the link to some of the videos in the Epstein files, and as it's going through, I found this. I want everybody to pay close attention to who this man is in the chopper with Jeffrey Epstein. He's turning his head. They just said Epstein. See who that is? That is Kamala Harris's husband in a chopper with Jeffrey Epstein. Have a fantastic day.
Now, I posted this. Let me move it over so you can see the face. I posted this on my X account because I can't tell if it's him or not. It looks like him, and opinions are mixed. A lot of people, the majority of people think it is him, but I'm not sure. His name isn't mentioned, but he could be one of the redacted. Who knows? But I was just very surprised that no one had caught on that this hadn't been put out there. So I wanted to share this and for you guys to see, do you think this is him? And in fact, I'll blow it up bigger on the screen so you can kind of get a better shot of his actual face. So I took myself off for a second because I want you guys to be able to see, is this Doug Emhoff? Now, if you don't know what Doug Emhoff looks like, let me show you. So there he is. I mean, it looks, if it's not him, it is very, very close. It's a very close doppelganger. Now, I am pretty sure, regardless, they're going to come out with a bunch of other people who it probably, it's this person, that person. Will we ever know? But by the looks of this, I mean, the hairline, maybe the forehead is more sloped, but he's not at that angle. But the nose, who knows? His nose is a little bit more curved, but I can't tell. You guys let me know.
Okay, I'll say this. I absolutely think that's him because look at the ears. I was sitting there looking at the structure and shape of the ears. You see, that's how you can tell. That looks like the same ear, honey. It looks like you could take this picture right here and lay it over top of this, but it'd be a perfect match. Hey, I'm not saying that's him, Kamala. I'm just saying that looks like your husband, boo. Somebody got some explaining to do. Okay, with that all being said, but let's continue.
But we have more to get to. Now, this is going to get dark. I would say the next two things I'm going to show you is going to get dark, but it is what it is. I've talked about it already here on the show, but it is important that, for those who haven't heard it, or if you forgot about it, I don't know how you could forget about it. But then there's another thing that I posted that went viral. And a lot of people are putting two together because of what I put out. It was like, it just hit me. And I was going through the files. I'll show you that in a second, but I just want to warn you, I mean, all of the Epstein files are disturbing, but this is one of the most disturbing things.
He's emailing Epstein and he's talking about ways that he can enhance a baby to suck.
Was just reading today that newborns will suck on a pacifier more vigorously if it triggers playback of a recording of his mother's voice than another woman's voice. Have you read David Brooks' Social Animal? Was #1 at New York Times books for quite a while.
I've been told about a black market for babies. And a woman told me that she had been used to make babies for this black market. So I'd heard.
So yes, that is in the file.
You all know that was in the files because I told you all that weeks ago. Okay, now here's the thing. Barilla says we need to be focused on Trump the most and the president and this and that. Okay, here's the thing. We are focused on Trump because like I told you all, if Trump goes down, they're all going down. But that doesn't mean that we're going to ignore other people that are in those files, beloved. That's not what that means. Okay, that's not what that means. Anybody that's in those files and who did something nefarious, we have questions. Okay, we have questions for Trump and we have questions for everybody else. Nobody's getting a pass. Okay, nobody. Because here's the thing. When you call out some people or one person and you don't call out everybody, the chain continues to stay linked. Okay, somebody just pops up in the place. Like, for example, when Jeffrey Epstein was in prison, do y'all think it stopped? Of course it didn't. Somebody else was just in charge. Okay, that's all that is, and that's how it goes. So we have to bring all of these people down. We have to call all of them out. Every single one of them has to pay and be held to account. Now, we're not going to give Doug a pass just because he's Kamala's husband, because at the end of the day, he's one of them people. Okay? He's one of them people, and y'all know what people I'm talking about. But hold on, because let's talk about this Borghese family, because I heard they were nefarious as well. So let's get into it. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, like and share.
Found in the files has me shook to the point that I could bring down a building. This is insane. Okay, hear me out. Okay, so you guys know how I've been on about the Borghese family for a minute or two now. If you're not caught up, go watch the last video I just posted. After posting that deep dive, I continued to dig because I could just feel something here. I just knew there was something here. I continued to dig, and you'll never guess what I found. While digging into the Borghese family, I discovered that the CEO and president of Borghese Inc., which is the umbrella company that the Borghese family uses to do their branding for their mini business venture. The CEO and president of Borghese Incorporated since 2000, a woman named Georgette Mosbacher. And as we know from yesterday's deep dive, the Borghese family, at least a couple of the family members, are implicated in Jeffrey's network. And this is the woman who's operating all their businesses, right? Georgette Mosbacher. Georgette Mosbacher was the wife of a man named Robert Mosbacher, who was the Secretary of Commerce under the first Bush presidency. Georgette is also like a career campaign runner for Republicans and like a career fundraising organizer for the Republican Party. And she was also appointed as the ambassador to Poland under Donald Trump's first presidency. And while managing being the CEO and president of Borghese Inc., she is also the founder of the Children's Advocacy Center of Manhattan, now known as the New York Center for Children. Yikes. Yes, this is a photo of Georgette with Sarah Ferguson, Andrew, formerly Prince Andrew's ex-wife, and their daughter. But the real reason I say yikes is because of this email that is in the files. In 2010, Ghislaine Maxwell and Georgette Mosbacher threw a dinner party together that Jeffrey either attended or was certainly made aware of. But that's not all. Here's another photo of Georgette with a co-conspirator of Jeffrey's. And this event, this specific event, was held at the Wall Street location of Cipriani's. And if you look at this man and his tie, and you look at this photo of Amanda Ungaro, a victim of Jeffrey's ring, who has a child with a man in the current administration who was wrongfully deported back in October to keep her silence. Yeah, she was there that night with this man at a party where multiple teens were in attendance. And their handler, Ghislaine Maxwell, was present as well. Here she is in a photo with Somers Farkas, who we have talked about. Somers Farkas is the current ambassador to Malta, and the Farkas family is not only deeply implicated in the files, but they are very close to the current administration. And we remember the Farkas family, they are very big donors to the Watermill Center. And the Watermill Center is like this artist organization that like a lot of people in Jeffrey's network donate to and attend their annual events. And the Watermill Center is like ground zero for a lot of like the conspiracies that surround these people, like this elite group. A lot of them stem from things that like literally happen at the Watermill Center. Like whenever I did my Marina Abramovich deep dive, I talked a lot about the Watermill Center. And as we have learned more about this group, there's just so many of them that are donors or attend their annual events that are like very spooky and incorporate experimental art that is often very graphic, and there are children in attendance. It's a whole other rabbit hole. I do recommend, if you want to know more about the Watermill Center, to go back into my playlist and find the Marina Abramovich deep dive from like 2 years ago, or you can go to my YouTube.
We already know about Marina Abramovich's no good spirit cooking self, who was in Jay-Z's Picasso video. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this one. This man seems to be crashing out about the whole Epstein debacle. And also, Mally C says, Queen, remember the white lady in the airplane screaming that he's not human? I believe her. Nowadays, most things don't seem so strange. Yes, I believed her then. That lady clearly saw something, in my opinion. Okay, and everybody wanted to say she's crazy, but see, that's the problem. We've got to stop as a society acting like, just discrediting and discounting people, not believing people because it sounds far-fetched. We live in a whole matrix. Nothing is as it seems. Okay, please pay attention. This is a whole Twilight Zone. Okay, Rod Serling, okay, at the end of the day. Now let's continue. And thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings.
What the fuck do you mean that 3.5 million pages of evidence dropped that implicates not only the current president of the United States, but some of the wealthiest and most powerful people in the world of just the most unimaginably heinous behavior, and nothing? No arrests, no perp walks, nobody dragging these fucking animals out into the street.
Everybody needs to apologize to Q. You know what that is, QAnon. They were right about everything. They said way back in 2018 that sometime in the future, all the truth would be revealed and the population would be so angry that they would want to carry the people, the politicians, the world leaders out into the street and make them pay for their crimes. They said that that would happen, and now we are literally seeing people say those exact words. I called it way back then too, and nobody wanted to listen to me. They thought I was weird because I talked about something that no one else in society was talking about. But now that everyone in society is talking about the Epstein files and what's been going on with the children being taken underground and how the world leaders are all in on this. Now suddenly it's okay to talk about because we had some files be released by the government, which everyone says that they don't trust anyway. So literally Q said that this would happen, and now we're here. And in the future, even more stuff is going to come out and no one's going to even believe it. There's going to be stuff about time travel and about reptilians, shapeshifters, and aliens. And it's probably all going to come out this year, honestly. And no one's going to even know what to even do about it. But for now, we got to make a change in the world. We can't let these world leaders continue to lead the world because look at the world today anyway. Is it really that great of a place? We need to have a huge change because the people who have created this civilization are sick in the head. We need actual good people in office to make things better. Honestly, you know what? I should just run for president.
Because what the fuck?
Don't worry, bro. Don't worry, bro. I'll do it. Okay. I'll run for president. If Trump can do it, I know I can. Please pay attention. Now, let's go to this clip where they're talking about Bernie Mac, because remember, they talked about cloning in the Epstein files. Remember, they said Bernie Mac had found out about some cloning centers and whatnot. Well, I know for a fact that B.O.B., the rapper from Atlanta, told us about the cloning centers, said he'd been taken there. Okay. And where is he now? Okay, please pay attention. He's not doing music. Okay, at least not that I've heard of. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
It's the Big Dipper Cool Nerd jumping back at you with another one. And today, Cool Nerds, let's get into it. I want to give a shout out to the late, great Bernie Mac. Peace be with him. And the reason for this video today is in regards to a conspiracy theory that went out surrounding Bernie Mac with him exposing cloning.
But nevertheless, Bernie Mac was introduced to the clone lab. But the part that tripped him out, how they showed him, they literally showed him how they clone people. They take the real person and put them off to the left and make two more of you. It blew his mind.
With the Epstein files actually confirming that they were basically cloning celebrities, conspiracy theory with Bernie Mac was he was about to go public with the information that he was finding out that when he was taken to these underground cloning facilities, that he was so distraught seeing the treatment of these clones and how these people were being treated that he wanted to go public.
Bernie had a talk with Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, and said the entertainer because he believed he could talk to them. Like, man, we got to tell somebody about this shit, man. Cloning people? They advised him, hey, man, this shit been going on since the 40s. We're going to make our money. Steve Harvey, big lip ass, right?
And by him voicing this to the other kings in comedy, such as Cedric, D.L. Hughley, and Steve Harvey, they basically snitched on him and turned him in so he wouldn't mess up their money. And that was the whole thing in regards to his demise, is that he was basically talking too much and was ready to go public.
He's saying that we gotta, we gotta expose this. Okay. They amped his chip up because the chip controlled every vital sign in your body. Bernie got real sick, went to the hospital. Sick, he's saying, these motherfuckers doing this to me. But Bernie did tell his wife what was going on, and she been scared shitless ever since. Bernie Mac left her, being ratted out by Steve and DL, all them niggas so.
Now, many of us actually just brushed it off like, it was just a conspiracy theory. But as we're finding out now with these Epstein files, that they're actually confirming a lot of the quote unquote conspiracy theories to actually be theoretical facts. Let me know what your thoughts about this in the comments. It's the Big Dipper Cool Nerd jumping back at you with another one. And today.
All right, so y'all heard what that man said. Now, mind you, I can't clarify or verify any of that nefariousness. Okay, I don't know what Bernie said or what happened to Bernie Mac, you know, at the end of the day, if DL and Steve Harvey and Cedric did whatnot, who's not. Now, I've heard that rumor for years, ever since Bernie died, but at the end of the day, I can't substantiate it. Okay. I can't substantiate it. So that's not me telling you that. I'm just playing the videos. Okay. Giving you all the people's thoughts and views and opinions. Now, Mally C says, Queen, there was an article of Tom Brady having his dead dog cloned. Honey, this is all strange. Okay. You know what? I believe it. I believe it. To be honest with you, I believe in cloning. I believe in cloning because it was decades ago when they supposedly cloned a sheep, according to them. So if they cloned a sheep, you mean to tell me they haven't cloned a human? Of course they have, in my opinion. I absolutely believe all of it. Okay, I believe they've been cloning people since the 40s. I really believe it. Right around the time they were doing MK Ultra, right around the time they had those Yahtzee soldiers come over here and they were conducting science or teaching them about science experiments and all this stuff, and you know, Operation Paperclip, Operation Mockingbird, and all these things. I believe it. There is so much that we don't know about. This government continues to just tell us whatever they want us to hear. Okay, but sadly, they don't often tell us the truth, in my opinion. Now, with that all being said, let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, oh, I'm sorry. There's one more video about this, and then we're going to get into our Black History moment. Okay. This Black woman seems like she's about to crash out about the Epstein files too, just like I was. I was clearly about to crash out. I had to take a break for a couple of days.
The fact that other countries are literally dragging people out of their fucking palaces, houses, and burning shit to the ground, and we are sitting here doing fucking nothing. Just my fucking face is so dry. I can't stop fucking crying. I've taken a mental break, but it's literally only a fucking break. People are getting dragged out of their houses in other countries now that these files have been released and they're mentioned in them. Everybody is here worried about their fucking taxes. About your fucking taxes? I swear, if I see one more motherfucking post about Credit Karma or TurboTax or H&R motherfucking Block. Taxes, man. Fuck about these kids. We give a fuck about these kids, man. We're just gonna fucking sit here and be silent. Get a fucking pitchfork. The fact that
not a pitchfork. Okay, so now that all being said, it is a sad story and something needs to be done. And, you know, Trump and his entire administration should quite frankly be ashamed of themselves, but they're not. They're all protecting Trump, and Trump knows that he's guilty of some of these things, in my opinion. And at the end of the day, you know, I think more people are as equally as upset as that young man that we just read about. Okay, there's other people probably just as upset. So now let's talk about it. Our Black History moment. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the Scottsboro boys. Okay, so first off, let's talk about the accusers and how this all got started. So this is a quote from one of the accusers. Her name is Victoria Price. She says, and she didn't die, by the way. She was born in 1911. She didn't die until 1982. She said, I didn't lie in Scottsboro. I didn't lie in Decatur, and I ain't lied here. I've told the truth all the way through, and I'm gonna go on fighting till my dying day, until justice is done. That's what she said after a lawsuit in 1976, which I found all interesting because y'all know she copied that word. Y'all do know she copied those words from a Black woman, right? Doesn't that sound like the Black women? Listen to this. I've told the truth all the way through, and I'm gonna go on fighting. Now, since when the white people in the 30s talk like this? I'm gonna go on a fight until my dying day or till justice is done. I'm sorry, she didn't say that in the 30s. She said in 1976 when she filed that lawsuit. But nonetheless, y'all know she got that from Hattie. Y'all know darn well she copied that from a Black woman, okay? Where'd she get that from? Hattie McDaniels? I am totally done. Okay, so anyway, all seriousness, then she really tried it. Okay, so with that all being said, let's get into it because here's the story. And it's a sad one. On March 25th of 1931, Victoria Price and Ruby Bates were traveling in men's overalls, hoboing abroad a Southern Railroad freight train. Now, when it was met by a heavily armed posse in Paint Rock, Alabama, the posse sought the black teenagers who had thrown a group of white boys off the train. Now, when the two white women said they had been R-worded, raped by the black youths, the town, the women, and the group of the black young men and boys became part of a tragic episode in American history known as Scottsboro. So now Price grew up in a poor part of Huntsville, Alabama, and worked in a local cotton mill where there was work. Now, during the Depression, the mills only employed Price and Bates for 5 or 6 days a month. On some of the other days, Price trespassed on the rails, traveling in search of work. She was just one of a vast army. And at the height of the Depression, 250,000 jobless young people lived their lives moving from place to place by hopping trains. Now I want you all to pay attention because this was during the Great Depression when people were clearly desperate. And this is the lady we're talking about here. Her name is was Virginia Price. So Price had first gone to work as a spinner at age 10 alongside her mother. But after her mother suffered an injury, young Victoria earned all the money they had. Now her 1931 wages was $1.20 per day. Okay, that was only half of what she had been making before the Depression in 1929. Now, the Huntsville deputy sheriff told a researcher from the American Civil Liberties Union that Price supplemented her earnings by being a S worker. Okay, she was into prostitution. So other neighbors reported that black men were among her patrons. Okay, Price herself insisted that she was very virtuous and ruined by the black youths on the train. That's the lie that she told, and many a white woman told the same lie back then. Now, when Victoria Price accused 6 of the 9 boys of raping her, she was 21 years old and had been married 3 times by the age of 21. Virtuous is not what she was. Okay, now according to Ruby Bates and Lester Carter, the white young man Bates, that Bates had met a few days before, Price had been with her boyfriend and a married man named Jack Tiller 2 nights before the ill-fated train ride. Now, on the witness stand, Carter testified that he'd met Tiller and Price in Huntsville, where they were jailed for adultery, and he had been locked up for vagrancy. Now, when they were released, the group met up with Ruby Bates, and the 4 decided to ride the rails together. Now, Bates and Price spent the night, and then they had sex with Carter and Tiller in a hobo jungle, a temporary camp near the tracks that was used for those that were waiting for the trains. So defense lawyer Samuel Leibowitz suggested that Price had invented the grape attack by the black defendants when the train had stopped. Because here's the thing, when they hopped off the train, it stopped in Paint Rock. He proposed that Price made up the charge to protect herself and Bates. Leibowitz speculated that the young women feared they would be arrested for vagrancy or for being hobos in the company of black youths. Now, he amassed a host of details in his witnesses' testimony to prove Price wasn't telling the truth. But Leibowitz was unable to depict Price as the lying, loose woman that he believed her to be. So they wouldn't believe that's what this white woman was. Even though he was giving them all the proof, the white folk, they just didn't want to believe it. Okay? And here's the thing. They hated black people so much in those days specifically, even if they did believe it, they weren't going to find the woman, to be a liar. That's what they wouldn't do. So anyway, Leibowitz was unable to depict her as the lying loose woman that he believed her to be. Now, an atmosphere of extreme hostility toward the Jewish New York lawyer. Oh, that's another thing why they didn't like him, okay? Because he was Jewish. And his witnesses had taken hold. So much so that a reporter in the courtroom heard more than one person say, "It'll be a wonder if Leibowitz gets out alive." Now, despite the many inconsistencies in her testimony, Price captured the all-white jury's sympathy, okay, denying any acquaintance with Carter, rejecting his story of spending the night in the hobo jungle, and insisting she had been raped by the black youths on the train. Price offered her own explanation of the events. This is all so nefarious. Now, this is her on the witness stand telling all those lies. So she was an avid talker and told the story of the grape with many colorful details. I mean, she made it very salacious and clearly embellished the lie. Now, the great story she told to the grand jury and petite juries at Scottsboro involved knives and guns, with one boy claiming they were going to take the girls north and take them north and make us their women, she said. And at the trials in Decatur, she said that one of them pulled out his private part and said, "When I put this in you and pull it out, you'll have a Negro baby." Lord, this all sounds so far-fetched, but hey, the people believed it because they wanted to. Price was the star witness for the prosecution, but perfectly uncooperative with the defense. Now, in response to Leibowitz's questions, she would reply, "I can't say," or "I can't remember." Usually what liars do. Please pay attention. Now, when asked if the model train he set up in court was similar to the one they had been riding on, she said it was not. The train she rode on was much bigger. Now, along with his questions, Leibowitz introduced evidence that Price had been arrested for adultery and fornication in January of 1939. The cases were repeatedly appealed and retried. In 1934, lawyers for the International Labor Defense, they basically tried to bribe her to change her testimony, but she revealed the plot to the police. Now, at 4 trials in Scottsboro, 1 before Judge Horton and 2 more in 1933 before Judge Callahan, and 4 more in 1937, Victoria Price stuck to her story. Okay, refusing to budge under cross-examination. And each time the jury found the defendants guilty. Now, after 1937, 4 of the defendants were in prison for the grape. 1 for assault, and 4 others had been let free. Now, Price was no longer needed to testify, and she faded into obscurity. Dan Carter wrote in his 1969 history of the trial, Scottsboro, a tragedy of the American South, that he believed she was in fact dead. Well, she wasn't. Now, in 1976, Price resurfaced, now known as Catherine Queen Victory Street. Okay, she was suing NBC for slander and invasion of privacy for the broadcast of Judge Horton and the Scottsboro Boys, a television movie. She had married twice more since World War II and was living in Tennessee. She returned to the witness stand for her suit and told her story for the 12th time in a court of law. In the end, her case was dismissed by the judge. She died broken, dusty, and busted in 1982. Okay? Now, this is the other woman, Ruby Bates. Ruby Bates said, "I told it just like Victoria Price told it." That's what she said in 1933. Now, at the time she accused 3 black young men of raping her, Ruby Bates was 17 years old. She believed like Victoria Price, or she lived like Victoria Price in a poor neighborhood of Huntsville and worked in the mills. Wages in 1931 were half of what they had been just 2 years prior, and that was when work was even available. Now, although some Southerners believed racial segregation was present at all levels of society, that wasn't true. In the poverty-stricken parts of Huntsville, where Bates spent her time, blacks and whites played together, drank together, and even sometimes slept together. Bates, who was white, had once been arrested for hugging a black man in public. This incident indicates the difference between behavior that was present and that which was legislated against. Okay, please pay attention. Now, Bates was the quieter of the 2 accusers, and she was always more vague about what had happened on the train. For the most part, she let Price do the talking, okay, and concurred with her version of the events. Now, at the first trial in Scottsboro in 1931, she confirmed the story they had told the posse at Paint Rock, Alabama, on the day they came off the train, and then alleged that 9 black teenagers had raped them. Now, in 1932, during an unrelated arrest, police found a letter that Bates had written to a boyfriend. In the letter, she denied having even been raped. raped. Now, the man who had the letter on his person claimed that he had been paid by the International Labor Defense to get Bates drunk and have her write the letter. Not long afterward, Bates disappeared. She wasn't seen for weeks. Then, in a surprise twist in Hayward Patterson's second trial in Decatur before Judge James Horton in 1933, Bates appeared as a surprise witness for the defense. She testified that there was never any rape, and that the evidence of sexual activity from the examination of herself and Price was from the night before, when they had been with her boyfriends. Now, under cross-examination, she was confronted with the conflicts in her testimony at Scottsboro, and becoming flustered proved to be a poor witness. Furthermore, she was asked about how she had paid for the new dress that she had on and where she had been. Her answer, that her new possessions were bought for her in New York, convinced many that her testimony had also been bought. Well, that's because that's what they wanted to believe. Okay. Now, according to Bates, she had gone to New York with a friend. Having a crisis of conscience, she sought out Reverend Harry Emerson Fosdick, okay, pastor of Riverside Church, whose picture she had seen and found trustworthy. They met, and he convinced her to return to Alabama to testify. Okay, well, shout out to him. He tried to convince her to do the right thing. There she is on the stand. Now, at the Patterson trial, Bates discovered that she was the target of much of the hate and resentment that had previously been focused on defense attorney Samuel Leibowitz and the communists of the ILD. She was taken out of town by armed deputies and sent back north. Okay, where many people celebrated her courage and her honesty. Among them were communists who asked her to speak at rallies for the case, including a march on Washington in 1933 with the parents of the defendants. On that trip, she spoke to a crowd of 5,000 in Baltimore. She said, "I want to tell you that the Scottsboro boys were framed by the bosses at the first trial, but I was forced to say it. Those boys did not attack me, and I want to tell you all right here and now that I'm so sorry that I caused all of this trouble for 2 years, and now I'm willing to join hands with black and whites to get them free." Bates even wrote to the defendants in prison and appeared at rallies with them when the four were released in 1937. So after testifying for the defense, Bates could no longer stay in her community. She moved to Washington State in 1940, married Elmer Schutt, and also changed her name to Lucille. Okay, she resurfaced in the 1970s to file a slander suit against NBC for its broadcast of the television movie Judge Horton and the Scottsboro Boys. Her husband died in October of 1976, and Ruby died a week later, just 2 days after Clarence Norris received his pardon from the state of Alabama. Okay, and that is the story of the Scottsboro Boys. But hold on, beloveds. We're going to go to this clip, and here they are once again. That's them with their attorney, who tried to get them off, but they didn't like him because he was Jewish. Okay, so now with that all been said, let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
One of the most interesting, crazy, incredible cases of American jurisprudence deals with Scottsboro. Again, you can't understand unless you've got the context of the Great Depression. You have folks riding the rails looking for work just because they can't afford to, I'll go find this job here. So they're just hopping on a train and riding in, trying to find work wherever they can find work. Well, what happens in the Scottsboro case is you have 9 black teenagers, and some of them get in a fight on the train with a couple of white guys. The train stops in Scottsboro, because this fight has broken out. As they're getting off the train, as the sheriff's folks are there, the white guys get off, the black guys get off, and then 2 white women get off. And the townsfolk are looking around going, oh. And the white women, because you've got black guys and white women in Alabama in the early 1930s, I believe 1932. It's like, whoa. And the women, Victoria Price and Ruby Bates, yell rape, and say that these 9 Black teenagers raped them. The town immediately took the 9 kids, hauled them in jail. There was a 1-day trial for these 9 kids that ranged from the age of like 12 or 13 to 17, known as the Scottsboro Boys. In this trial, Victoria Price described the horrific rape. Well, the problem was that the doctor who had examined these women said, there's no evidence of rape here. But that didn't stop the jury. The doctor now didn't testify that there was no evidence of rape, but it was very clear that he knew there was no evidence of rape. And he had told folks there was no evidence of rape. These 9 Black teenagers were convicted, and rape was an executable offense in the 1930s. And so in a 1-day trial, 8 of them were sentenced to die in the electric chair. The youngest was sentenced to life imprisonment in an Alabama prison. Now, there are multiple problems with that story. One, Ruby Bates, one of the women who had yelled rape, recanted, said it didn't happen. Now, let me tell you what really happened here. We're prostitutes. And the Mann Act, the Federal Mann Act, says that we were afraid of getting, because you can't cross state lines for immoral purposes. And since we crossed over out of Tennessee and Alabama, we were afraid that we might get brought up on federal charges. So we were just trying to protect ourselves. And so we just said, rape. Another part of the problem was that first the Communist Party's legal wing hopped in there and took this case up to the Supreme Court to try to protect the Scottsboro Boys. Then the NAACP hopped in it. But a major Supreme Court decision was the Powell v. Alabama decision that came after this. Because think about this. You're on trial for your very life for a crime that never happened. Your court-appointed attorneys, one is the town drunk. I believe at the time he may have had a blood alcohol level of 0.2. I mean, lit. The other attorney in a capital case is probably in about the 4th stages of senility. So one of your attorneys is senile, looking for butterflies, and the other one is drunk, seeing butterflies. Now, the Supreme Court, even the Supreme Court in the 1930s went, really? No, come on. Come on. This is just too much even for us. And they remanded the case. They kicked the case back down. You got to try these fellas again. Well, what happens now that they've got a real legal team is that they began to construct the train and found out that many of the Scottsboro boys weren't even in the same car as the women. So how can a rape happen if the guys aren't in that car? They were convicted once again. Case goes back up to the Supreme Court. By the time there were so many egregious constitutional errors in this case that by the time the Scottsboro case is done, and eventually they start getting let out one by one by one by one, it took first 18 years for the last one. Imagine being in prison, in an Alabama prison. You are 17. You get out when you're 35 for a crime that never happened, a crime where one of the women has recanted, a crime where the evidence demonstrates that you couldn't have done this thing. This would be called an egregious wrong. You also had several who had escaped. Imagine trying to escape from an Alabama chain gang, but they managed to get out. Michigan refused. Alabama tracked one down up into Michigan. Michigan refused. And think about this, a state refusing to extradite a convicted felon back to Alabama because Michigan looked up and said, this is wrong. This is just wrong. The last one was pardoned by Governor George Wallace sometime, I believe, in the 1980s. So imagine again, basically living in the shadows for almost 40, 50 years because of something that never happened. The charge of rape. I mean, Scottsboro speaks to so much in the criminal justice system. But what you also get in this is a series of Supreme Court decisions dealing with the right to competent counsel. Thank God. And the right to have a jury that is really truly a jury of your peers. Now, that is some amazing jurisprudence that is coming out of this case of horrific, egregious, unjust, justifiable. I have no more words for what happened at Scottsboro.
So that was just low down and dirty. Okay, and even after the other woman came and told the truth, they still didn't want to hear it. And then they started threatening her. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this video clip here. Now, there was a black singer back in the day by the name of Leadbelly. Leadbelly actually did a song about the Scottsboro boys. And it was like a song of basically like a warning to other black men, okay, that this could happen to you like it happened to them. But basically, this video, he actually played the song. I'm not going to play it. I've fast forwarded past the song because I don't want any copyright issues. But I want you to listen to what he says about Leadbelly, okay?
That was Scottsboro Boys by Leadbelly, and it was the first recorded use of the term stay woke. Let's have a listen to that.
I advise everybody to be a little careful when they go along through that, but stay woke, keep their eyes open.
I advise everybody be a little careful when you go along through there. Best stay woke, keep their eyes open. What did Leadbelly mean by that? Well, first let's talk about who the Scottsboro Boys are and what Leadbelly was singing about. During the Great Depression in the 1930s, unemployed workers used to hop on freight trains to ride around the country looking for work. March 25th, 1931, a Southern Railroad freight train was leaving Chattanooga and headed for Memphis. On one of the boxcars was a mix of...
Okay, so we know the story, but at the end of the day, shout out to him because I never even heard of Leadbelly. But can you all imagine that a black man was telling black people to stay woke? In other words, stay vigilant back in the 30s. Did y'all know that? But see, I want you to pay attention because we already knew that word came from us. But this is why the right is always trying to demonize that word. This is why they're always trying to talk about wokeism and the woke left, because they do that to discourage black people from waking up to seeing the truth of who and what they are. Okay, please pay attention, honey. They want to keep the wool pulled over our heads. Now, let's go to this other moment in Black history. Okay, this black ice skater who was penalized back in the day for doing a backflip that they said was banned. Okay, I do recall years later, I do believe a white girl did it and got praised for it, but let's continue.
Wear the medal. You are looking at one of the most controversial moments. In figure skating history, 1994 World Championships, her name is Surya Bonale, a black powerhouse in a sport obsessed with ice princesses. That night, she was undeniable. Her jumps were massive. Her technique was flawless. She didn't just skate to the music, she owned it. But when the scores came up, the crowd gasped. Her technical scores were high, but her artistic scores suspiciously low. She wasn't beaten by a better skater, she was beaten by the judges. So at the medal ceremony, she rebelled. She refused to stand on the podium. And when she finally stepped up, she took the silver medal off her neck. She held it in her hand. A silent protest that screamed louder than words. She didn't speak to the press. She let the moment speak for itself, but she wasn't done. Years later, at the 1998 Olympics, she gave the world one final image, the backflip. Landing on one foot, it was illegal, it was dangerous, it was legendary. She knew she wouldn't win gold, so she decided to win history. Surya Bonale didn't skate for their approval. She skated for respect.
Wow. Anyways, guys, let us know what you think in the comment section.
She refused to wear the medal. You are looking at one of the most.
Okay, you see, they penalize Black people for being great. They will penalize you for being excellent, which I find it all interesting. But hold on. What I wanted to show you all also, the the white skater who did it. Now here's the thing. Hold on, let me make sure this is the video I'm looking for. No, that's not it. Hold on. Yeah, this is it. Now watch this. Here is a white skater doing it, a white male skater. There was also an Asian skater who successfully did it, but he landed on both feet. Now, as you all can see, she landed on only one. Now, then comes along a white skater who does it, and he actually lands on one foot. Did he get penalized? Well, of course not. He's white. Okay, I just want you all to pay attention because it's just so annoying how they will sit there. His name is Ilya Malinin, I think. Okay, so hold on, beloveds. Now I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I was trying to see if there was music to the video, so I'm going to go ahead and mute it. Okay, so Danielle says, didn't they try to do the same thing with Simone Biles a few years ago? They probably did, beloved. Okay. And then listen to this. I'm reading the comments and someone said now that backflip is celebrated. Of course it is. Okay, of course it is. And then here's the thing. Somebody else says, listen to this. They say, I saw a headline saying first Olympic backflip. Okay, and heard a record scratch in my head. Okay, because why are they lying? First Olympic backflip. Okay, this is what they said. They said they heard them say it. And then it was banned. It was banned for Surya Bonali, which is the young lady we just saw. Okay. And it says the backflip was reinstated as a legal move in 2024. Y'all see how we paved the way? Y'all see how we can pioneer something, but yet, be just punished for it, for Black excellence. The devils do hate us so. Okay, the devils do hate us, so I want y'all to pay attention. This is the bullish right here. Then you're going to reinstate it in 2024 and then say the first Olympic backflip. No. Okay, it was a copying of the first Olympic backflip. Like, these people are something else. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to go to your lifelines in just a second. I do believe there was, hold on. Okay, yeah, we're going to go to these lifelines. Y'all got to see this. Y'all have to see this. This is your lifelines for today. Please pay attention.
I have here something that we all need to look out for. This is a loaf of bread from Aldi that was purchased over 2.5 years ago. And it's been in this office as an experiment. You can use it like an accordion, smash it up. And even Eric can attest that this bread has been in here for over 2 years. And look at this. Let's get a close-up of this. No mold. It smells fine. You can smash it down and it will come right back up. Again, this bread has been in this office for over 2 years. What the hell is in our food? We're going to come and find out. We're going to work on legislation to provide information on what we are putting in our bodies.
And it's really a shame because many of the food items made and produced here in the United States are in fact banned in other countries. Like, did you all know that Ritz crackers are banned in other countries? Our bread is banned in other countries. Just a myriad of things. So why are we eating it? Okay, if other countries are not eating it, then why should we? Now let's continue because that's not the end of it.
Vice President just said that their soups have 3D printed meat in them. He was also caught on recording saying that Campbell's products are for poor people and that he won't eat them because he knows that they are unhealthy. with the bioengineered meat in them.
Bioengineered meat? I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer.
This was all caught on audio recording by an employee named Robert Garza of Michigan. Garza filed a lawsuit against Campbell's on Thursday and released audio he says features Vice President and Chief Information Security Officer Martin Bally. A Campbell's Soup Company spokesperson released a statement that said, "We are proud of the food we make, the people who make it, and the high-quality ingredients we use. The comments on the recording are not only inaccurate, they are patently absurd. Keep in mind the alleged comments are made by an IT person who has nothing to do with how we make our food. If the recordings are legitimate, the comments are unacceptable and they do not reflect our values and the culture of our company. Mr. Bally is temporarily on leave while we conduct our investigation." Campbell's Soup Vice President just said that their soup.
I bet he is on leave. Huh. Okay, no surprise there. I'll bet that he is on leave. Reggie said he bakes his own bread. Okay, maybe I should start baking mine. I don't buy bread, but I do like bread, but I don't eat it because of the nefariousness of it all. But here's the thing: they're saying that what was it, the VP? They're saying that what he said is not true. This is what Campbell's is saying. Well, hold on, let me show y'all a little something here. He said it was bioengineered meat. Isn't that what he said? Yeah, that's exactly what he said. So watch this. Now they're saying it's not true, but hey, all you have to do is read the labels. Okay? All you have to do is read the labels. Look at this. What does it say? I'm sorry. What does it say? Okay, please pay attention. It says this product comes from genetically modified, okay? And then it says contains bioengineered food ingredients. So why are they lying? They're lying. It says it right there, bioengineered food and genetically modified. So, okay, that's what it says now, but hold on. Let's talk about this 3D printed meat company that, and guess who owns this meat company? Guess who? Where do you find out who owns this meat company? Let's just get into it. Okay, please pay attention. Well, if they don't get you one way, they're darn sure get you another.
A juicy, sizzling steak made by computer. While obtaining regular meat is a process that's been taking place for millennia, cow, butcher, beef, Redefined Meat, a meat alternative startup out of Israel, makes their product using a highly technical process. The mix of soy and pea protein, chickpeas, beetroot, nutritional yeast, and coconut fat is formed into steak-like shapes using a 3D printer.
Our goal is to become the largest meat company in the world just by harnessing technology instead of animals.
Meat substitutes are not new, but unlike the soy-based crumbles that mimic ground beef, Redefined Meat's product is designed to act, taste, and cut like flank steak.
This is the holy grail of alternative meat.
But the most important part, how does it taste? This diner was happy.
The texture feels right. Even the smell smells like the real thing. Really authentic for me. It's revolution.
It's a no for me. I don't give a darn how good it looks or how good it smells. I wish I would. Okay, I wish I would. How does this stuff even get approved? Now, you know, they say Florida has banned this stuff. Red says you can make your own almond milk with raw almonds. Absolutely. I do that all the time. Okay, so please, these people are absolutely egregious. Okay, I keep telling y'all, you have to watch what you're going to eat. Okay, you have to watch what you're going to eat. Sweet Butter said, mad scientist. Exactly. Like, who do they think we are at this point? Okay, so anyway, honey, I don't know what to tell you all. Just be safe out there. Choose your groceries wisely. Start trying to grow your own foods if you can. You know, some things you can actually grow indoors also. So with that all been said, listen, just try to eat healthy. And if you have a local organic farmer in your area, well, what you can do, maybe hopefully you can, but what I do is that I sometimes order my groceries from the local organic farmer. They will deliver them to you. Some of them will, okay, for small fee. But wouldn't it be best to eat things that you know are healthy and that really have nutritional value rather than to stuffing yourself full of empty calories that leave you feeling hungry later and tired after, and then that completely disrupt your system because it's just not what you're supposed to be consuming? Okay, so don't say I didn't warn you. With that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and I hope to see you all on the next live. Okay, so until then, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got